Podmortem would like to thank Original Cinematic for sponsoring this week's episode. Original Cinematic is an independent production company that has made it their mission to create, produce, and promote films that are inclusive, honor women, promote the LGBTQIA+ community, and provide prominent positions and roles to POC actors and filmmakers, and promote the films of marginalized and underrepresented populations. These are all things that are extremely important to our podcast as well.
Original Cinematic is currently accepting scripts and treatments. Both William and Xxena Rush are also available via email or Zoom to discuss writing and provide input and resources to all aspiring writers free of charge. Their information will be made available in the show notes. There may be delays due to a hectic schedule and all projects being read on a first-come, first-served basis, but everything will be read and responded to. William Rush has individually produced numerous projects, including Pack is Here, Before, The Cottage, The Winemaker, and Day by Day. Their award-winning film Group premiered and was celebrated at multiple film festivals as well as screenings both in person and via Zoom that was graciously made available to us and our patrons.
Original Cinematic has many exciting projects on the horizon. Their next film, Immersion, has been completed. The award-winning Sweetener is in development. Fetish begins shooting in September, and Encore will begin next spring. Their documentary, Women in Conversation, is slated for a September release, and we are looking forward to each and every one of them. It is truly an honor to partner with Original Cinematic, and we can't thank them enough for their contribution to our show. And now, back to our regularly scheduled program.
Salutations! Welcome to Podmortem. I'm Reneé Hunter-Vasquez, joined as always by my co-host, my husband, and my brother.
Hi, I'm John Paul Vasquez.
Hi, I'm Travis Hunter-Sayapin.
This week, we're recording live from an ancient Mayan temple discussing the 2008 horror film, The Ruins. This film was directed by Carter Smith and written by Scott Smith, based off of his novel of the same name. In his first feature film, Smith provides a different take on Scott Smith's bestseller. The Ruins takes us on a trip, featuring impressive production design, intriguing if not frustrating characters, upsetting effects, and a unique threat. While at times the film strays from its source material, it boasts uncomfortable scenes and body horror disturbing enough to make the audience's skin crawl, cementing it as a favorite among many horror fans. This film was requested to us by friends of the show, Alexis Roberts, TJ Bronson, Blaine Hancock, Jasmine, Lala Thomas, Megan M., Jason Kyle OKC, Lisa Misfit, Scott Troutman Wise, Tanner Rutgers, Stephen Junius, Julie Fredborg, Henry F., Martin Shaw, Karen with a Y, Jonathan Stein, Aether, Christine Elizabeth, and Mercedes X. Bleeple. We want to thank them all for their support as well as this suggestion. This film was also the winner of our October Patreon poll, so thank you to all of our patrons who participated and voted. If you want to help us pick an episode, join us on Patreon at patreon.com/thepodmortem. So, what did you guys think of The Ruins the first time you saw it?
This was a first-time watch for me. I had never heard of it. I know, babe, you said that you had read the book.
Yes.
Okay. And I think that was about my extent of, knowledge of what was going on here. Watching the movie for the show, I don't know what I expected. I expected some ruins. But I did not expect to be left in ruins.
Oh my God.
There are some things I like. I like the idea of this movie a lot. I do enjoy, our setup, the location, what's going on. I think a lot of what was happening in here really didn't work for me. I think it was just because I couldn't connect with any of the characters. Not having any relatable characters really kind of was just like, you know what I mean? I couldn't really latch on to any of them. And I again, the story, the idea of it was cool, but I think it took us a little bit to get to where we needed to get, and then some stuff happened and some more stuff happened, and then the movie was over.
Right.
So I was like, oh, wow. But that was the ruins for me.
Yes.
For me.
I agree. And I am very sad to agree.
Yeah.
Because I really, really wanted to like this a lot. It comes highly requested.
Yeah.
It won our Patreon poll, like, against all odds.
For October. That's our big one.
Against 12 other films.
Yeah.
And so I was like, I'm really stoked to see this. According to Letterboxd, I had watched this before, but I just flat out didn't remember.
Oh.
So this felt like a complete first-time watch, like you.
Yeah.
I will say that for me, I think it just came out that it was very underwhelming for me.
Mm-hmm.
I do think that there are a decent amount of positives, though. I think that the cast is pretty fantastic.
Yeah.
The people that they've assembled for the roles, even if the characters didn't really vibe.
Yeah.
Right.
Daylight horror.
Yeah.
Which is not a common thing, but whenever you see it, it is something very interesting.
Mm-hmm.
How do you make something in the light of day frightening? And I think that a lot of times they were successful.
Yeah.
I think along with that is the practical effects.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
They did a lot of really good work, and I think that it turned out to create a lot of really unsettling moments.
Mm-hmm.
Where it goes is not where I anticipated it going, and so I have to commend that twist, because that is not what I expected this film to be.
Right.
And lastly, I love films that are kind of single location for the most part.
Yeah.
And I think they did a really good job with that. That is a real credit to the production design.
Yeah.
And I honestly, learning more about it, I know we'll talk about it later, I could not believe what they did here.
Okay.
Oh.
It's really remarkable work. But on the other side of that coin, the pacing of this thing, I am so puzzled by the choices they made and the time spent doing certain things versus the things that we really came to see. I don't understand it. This film, I believe the credits are 5 minutes long, and so it's an 85-minute movie.
Yeah.
That is confounding. I just don't understand. I feel like, especially with what I had heard from Reneé for a while now, with how much better things are in the novel.
Right.
So I can only imagine, the characterization, some of the body horror, maybe it is a little more in-depth or a little more interesting. I think that for me, the level of time we spent on the characters is kind of nil. And I think that I came away from it feeling as if this might have been better as a segment in an anthology for what we got.
Okay, yeah. Yeah.
Because it doesn't feel fleshed out enough for its own feature to me. But if this were a segment, like, I don't know why it put me in the mind of The Raft.
The Raft, me too. Yeah.
If it was something like that, and then there were other stories around it, I feel like this really could have been a tight, 35 minutes.
Yeah.
But as a feature, it's just really muddled. The narrative to me is lacking. The characters I do not like. It's just, I'm not mad. I'm just disappointed.
Yeah, I read the book, so I went in with pretty high expectations because I thought the book was excellent. I really, really loved it. I think I read it last year, and this is so highly recommended. The fact that you accurately put forward that this could be a good anthology segment is a huge problem with it as an adaptation, because what we got, that's 1,000% true. The novel I read, no, this movie should have been at least 2 hours.
Wow.
It's too, and that's not something I don't think we say very often, but it's too short.
Yeah.
Especially when you spend almost a third of the film really getting fucking traction and getting going. You know what I mean? It's it's odd. It's odd, especially when the guy that wrote the book wrote the screenplay. It's just very strange decisions, in my opinion.
Yeah.
To learn that really shocked me.
Yeah.
Because it seems like something that's they cut out so much, almost seemingly against what the author would probably want.
Right,
yeah.
right.
And I mean, I feel like we have been for the last month having a pretty similar conversation on PMTV because we just finished our coverage of the Stand miniseries. And in that aspect, it's like, okay, you cannot fit this entire novel into 6 hours. The Stand is massive. The Ruins is not that massive. I think that I don't know who put time constraints on this. Easily could have been a really fucking cool adaptation. For me, as I already said, it takes a while to get going. I absolutely hated the ending. I did not like this ending at all. I like the alternate ending much better, but I still prefer the book ending, which we will get into all of that. But the stuff in the middle that does work for me is stuff that I loved in the book. And I just don't, it's just odd to me that we would put like this, what'd you say, 85 minutes?
Yeah.
Why? Why are we doing that? It's just weird.
Yeah, and that is true. We don't ever say that a lot about put some more time on it.
It's too
short. Every now and then we might say, this could be cut 10, 15 minutes.
Uh-huh.
You know what I mean? Or instead of spending 10, 15 minutes on something else, like you said, T, we should have been somewhere else, developing these characters or the story or anything in any way.
It's that. Because we have characters that know each other very well and characters that don't know each other very well. And I think if we had more time, whether, they're all flawed in their own way, which in my opinion makes them interesting to watch.
Yeah.
Flawed characters are interesting.
Yeah.
If we had more time to maybe give a shit about them or about the dynamics between them, I think that everything that happens would just hit a lot harder. But I love the body horror that we do get. I love the practical effects that we do get. I think that there are moments where you're like, oh, like your skin really is crawling a little bit because it is disturbing. I think that that's what bums me out about it, is because there are really, really awesome moments, but it's like I do feel that there are missed opportunities. And I'm going to be completely honest, the editing in this is wild. Like, there are glaring continuity errors. There are scenes that feel like they were just chopped off before they finished. Like, I'm like, maybe because the show, we watch it differently, or I just watch too many movies, but like watching it, I feel it. This was chopped up. Like, and I know that there's an unrated version, and maybe those weird cuts are like, oh, that's where the unrated bits go. But it's like, dude, I watched what was available to me.
What was released in theaters.
It felt incomplete. But I will say I fully recommend the book, and I don't hate this. I think that T, you said it best. It's just disappointing because there are moments that are extremely successful. The story, Scott Smith's premise, is fantastic. It's eerie. It's pretty unique. It's like, it is really fucking cool. I think the performances are really, really good. I think that there are good things here, and that's what makes this like odd execution so jarring. And I'm like, either give me 30 more minutes or don't spend the first 30 minutes getting the story started. I love a good slow burn.
Of course.
I wouldn't have minded that at all. Like moments of like things not feeling quite right as we're leading up to this thing, because that's how it is in the book. We don't start where we go. We go there.
Yeah.
And there are moments of like, this feels weird. And like you kind of get, I don't know. I'm trying not to just sit here and fucking complain, but it is like I know that you're capable of better.
Well, I think what it is it feels confused, like it doesn't know what it's really trying to be.
Yeah.
I think if you're not going to spend any time with the characters really, then all right, then let's go all in on the body horror and gore.
Right.
But then there's not enough of that to compensate for the lack of character. So it's just this problem that just continues to fester and grow. Almost, like a vine.
I was going to say like a really scary plant, maybe. I don't know. But before we get into it, obviously we want to get into production a little bit. I got my information from the production notes, the special features on the DVD, and from Screen Rant.
Okay.
So the story of the film begins when, according to producer Chris Bender, producers Stuart Cornfield and Ben Stiller We're huge fans of author Scott Smith's first book, A Simple Plan, which was also adapted into a film in 1998 by Sam Raimi.
Oh, really?
Very cool.
When they found out that Scott Smith was writing a second novel, they reached out and were able to read the first few chapters. They were immediately on board. So before The Ruins was even published, it wasn't even finished yet. He just gave them like an outline of where he was going with it. They bought the rights to it.
Huh.
The producers set their sights on Carter Smith to direct, who is in no relation to Scott Smith, because that was my first question. That was my first question as well. But he was known as a fashion photographer and not a director, as he'd never directed a feature film before. Ben Stiller said that Steven Spielberg had seen Smith's short film Bug Crush, and he told Ben Stiller, "You guys should check this guy out."
Okay.
So the producers loved the short film. In fact, when each of the actors were sent the script, they were also sent Bug Crush to watch and understand Smith's film language and style. But funnily enough, Smith said that when he was approached for The Ruins, he was going on vacation and the novel had just come out and he'd gotten it for his vacation book.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
So when they called him to offer him the film, he was coincidentally like 30 pages into the novel. And he was like, yes.
Yeah.
So when Carter was approached by DreamWorks to direct, he said that he loved horror films and he was already a huge fan of that first novel and film, A Simple Plan. So since everyone else obviously loved Scott Smith's work as well, he was the only choice to helm the screenplay and he accepted. Honestly, that's pretty much all I could find. It was filmed in Australia, released in April of 2008, where it would promptly bomb at the box office, earning only $22 million worldwide against a $25 million budget.
Aye.
But it would find its audience. Y'all heard all those names I set up at the top. So I guess there's nothing left to do but to explore the ruins.
I see what you've done.
Now, before we quarantine this film, we would like to issue a warning for spoilers. Pod Mortem is a very in-depth podcast, and in thoroughly discussing horror films, we have no choice but to spoil a thing or two. If you don't wish to be spoiled, please go watch the film, then come back and enjoy the show. If you've already seen the film or don't care about spoilers, then let's grow. The film begins with a woman played by Barb Paley sitting in the dark. She holds her knees to her chest, cowering, trembling, sobbing. She looks upward and screams at the top of her lungs for somebody to please help her. When she doesn't get a response, she looks down at her phone, desperately punching the buttons on the keypad to no avail. The woman sits in front of inky darkness, looking around pleadingly before, with no warning, she is snatched back by something unseen. She doesn't even have time to scream before she's gone. We quickly cut to an aerial view of a forest, gliding over trees as birds cry out and an ominous score mounts. We get the weathered title in red against all the green, The Ruins.
I love a cold open.
Uh-huh.
I feel
Typically, yes.
I feel like, to me, we're setting up kind of a bit of a mystery that will be solved or will need to be solved. So it's creating a sense of intrigue. I feel like we know who this is eventually.
Right.
But it seems the group is unsatisfied.
I want to just take a pair of tweezers and just take this out of the movie.
Completely.
I don't like it at all. I can't remember where I read it, but it was a producer note that it's too long without something scary happening. So they wanted to add this at the beginning. And for me, it doesn't work for me.
Yeah, I get it's like, well, oh shit, stuff's already popping off.
Yeah.
But I can agree as well. I don't really think that this needs to be there. Like it did for me. It was more confusing than helpful.
Well, and this is not even a person that we ever really explore. I mean, I think that we see them later on.
Yeah.
But it's not. I mean, I know, John Paul, you had said that you thought this was going to be one of the people that we're about to meet.
Right.
Because it's pretty unclear. And I feel like, honestly, it works better if we start where we start and it just slowly descends.
Mm-hmm.
I like it better that nothing scary happens for a while.
Yeah.
Instead of, oh my God, oh, okay, we're, I guess, on the beach. Like, it's and for half a fucking hour, nothing happens again.
Yeah.
Like, I would rather just start at a baseline and it just, like, gets scarier from there.
Right.
And I love a cold open, as you said, T, but this one, I don't know. I don't like it.
I feel like if you have to have it there, then maybe switch out who it is with a person that is the reason we're going there.
I like that.
Yeah.
Because we do get that set up in just a little bit, and maybe that would have worked better to have a visual understanding of who this person is.
And what happened.
Yeah, because then we already know. But then, yeah, that kind of takes away from what we're about to get into. Maybe if your problem is that there's too much time without it being scary, don't add it to the front end. Try to fix how long that setup is.
Yeah, that's true.
But at a pool, Stacy, played by Laura Ramsey, slams her cards down and calls Jen. She tells Jeff, played by Jonathan Tucker, to read him and weep as she rejoices. Finally!
Laura Ramsey, she was in Lords of Dogtown in 2005. She's the man in 2006, and No One Lives in 2012.
No One Lives.
I was going to say, shout out to Molly. Okay?
Yes. And we will get to it.
We will.
And Jonathan Tucker, we did talk about him in the Texas Chainsaw Massacre 03.
We sure did.
He was also in The Virgin Suicides in 99 and Pulse in 06.
I have a vague memory of Pulse, but this dude, he will always be Texas Chainsaw 03.
For sure. And for me, The Virgin Suicides, because that was
That's
a hyperfixation movie.
Okay.
That was a great film. But he was so good in Texas Chainsaw.
Yeah.
He was.
I feel like that's a thing about this film is that everybody that's in it, their performances
Right.
are very good.
Definitely.
It's just the characterization.
It does hurt.
But Jeff shakes his head with no choice but to accept his defeat. When Stacy decides that they're playing War next, he shuts it down. They're not playing War. War's not even a game. It's just total chance. But Stacy insists that they are. Amy, played by Jenna Malone, is lying on her yellow towel, but she lifts up her head to give her 2 cents. The winner picks the game. Those are Jeff's rules.
Jenna Malone, she's in the Hunger Games movies, Donnie Darko,
Yes.
and in Love Lies Bleeding in 2024.
Love Lies Bleeding is fantastic.
Yeah?
If you have not seen it, you definitely need to watch it.
Okay.
But Stacy thanks her friend, and Jeff again has no choice but to concede. Before they can begin, though, Eric, played by Sean Ashmore, comes over with a little Mexican hair of the dog in the form of margaritas.
Sean Ashmore, I know him as Iceman from
Of
the
course.
X-Men movies, but he was also in Frozen in 2010, Man of Medan, the video game from 2019, and Alan Wake 2, 2025.
Interesting.
Hell yeah,
Yeah.
dude. I loved Man of Medan. Just sidebar. I love those games. Stacy smiles and Amy is ready to partake, but Jeff tells Eric to keep the drinks away from him. Eric grins that that's not what Jeff was saying last night, and Stacy chuckles, adding, "Seriously, Mr. Nude Lifeguard, what was up with that?" Amy rolls over on her towel and giggles, but screwing the cap back on his bottled water, Jeff denies any idea of what they're talking about. And this does not really gel with who we know Jeff to be.
Yeah, no.
No.
Where's Nude Lifeguard Jeff?
Yeah.
I'd like to see that side.
I think that's something too. I know we're trying to get to know each other here and everybody's playing off each other, trying to like get their personalities, how they work together. I don't think for me that it really works very good.
I don't mind it. I just wish we had more time with it. I think that's
maybe
my
it's
issue
that.
with it.
Okay.
Because Laura Ramsey even said that during like rehearsal sessions, they would improv as their characters and like set up these dynamics and establish their characters and backstories and whatever. And I just don't really feel like they get time to really do that.
Okay, maybe it's that.
But Stacy is counting out the cards. 1, 2, 3, 4, I declare a war. But Jeff has shifted his attention to Amy. He points out gently that she's burning up. He indicates her reddened chest, but Amy assures him she's not burned, just flushed. She's hot. Stacy boasts to Eric that she won, and Eric kisses her, telling her that he knew she would. His warning unheeded, Jeff gives up and settles back into his chair. But Amy sits up, frustrated, when she realizes that one of her earrings is missing. She's so frustrated, in fact, that her sunglasses morph into regular eyeglasses in between shots. I fucking hate when that happens.
It sucks, man.
This is the editing. This is
I know.
dude. Jeff tells her to check in her towel, but she tells him to check under his chair and Stacy to look under her towel. Stacy and Eric do check, but Stacy also laughs at this. Why would it be under her towel? Amy didn't lay down over here.
You stole her earring, I think, because you're getting really defensive.
Well, I'd be annoyed too because he's like, check your towel. And she's like, no, you fucking check your towel. It's like,
So we're already turning on each other.
What the hell?
all it took was a lost earring. Across the pool, though, Matthias, played by Joe Anderson, watches the group search, and Amy whined that it was her favorite earring.
Joe Anderson, we did talk about him on The Crazies in 2010. He was also in Across the Universe in 07 and Horns in 2013.
Yes,
This dude is so underrated to me.
I agree.
Yeah.
I love this guy as an actor.
Amy is lounging, though, and sipping her margarita when Matthias comes over, now dripping wet from the pool and presenting her lost earring. In his other hand, he holds a snorkeling mask, and he tells her in his German accent that he thinks that this is hers. He found it. He dangles it from his fingers, and Amy takes it happily. Matthias starts to leave, but Jeff asks if he wants to stay and have a drink. After thinking for a moment, Matthias accepts. Amy bites her bottom lip and shoots Stacy a look.
That's not good.
No.
As Eric pours Matthias a margarita from the pitcher, Stacy warns that it's got ice in it. Eric corrects her. It's blended, but Stacy doubles down. That means it has ice in it. Jeff asks Matthias where he's from, and Matthias reveals that he's originally from Munich. Amy is still addressing Stacy, though, when she dismisses that it's just ice. But Stacy denies this. The water system here is contaminated with human feces. Those drinks are blended with hepatitis B. Matthias sits down with his drink and wonders how they know each other. Eric explains that Amy and Stacy are best friends, and he and Jeff are their boyfriends. Matthias nods in understanding. So obviously I know the dynamic between these four because I did read the book. But thus far in the film, and I know it just started, I thought the way that it's presented, it seems as though Eric and Stacy are a couple. Jeff likes Amy and Amy is not really trying to hear it. That's the vibe. Because when Matthias came over, she was like, oh.
Yeah.
And then when he's like, you're burning, I'm just hot. Like, it feels, I don't know. I was like, oh, they're together too?
Yeah.
She's like, lay off me. It's like, oh my God.
Sorry.
She's not into it.
Kind of like Harold and Franny on the
Yes.
stand, right?
Yeah.
Get away from me. Jeff asks if he's here alone, but Matthias isn't. He's here with his brother, but his brother left with some girl. Jeff thinks that he means that his brother left Mexico, but Matthias reiterates the girl was an archaeologist and he left with her to a dig site. Lying back on her towel, Amy asks what they're digging. Matthias says it's ruins. He thinks it's a Mayan temple. Jeff understands that that's kind of like the ones that nobody else wanted to go to the entire time they've been here. And nobody liked that. They're all like, ugh. But Matthias continues that the site apparently isn't even on the guidebooks. It's VIP only. Eric says that that's something he would do. And Stacy agrees that it does sound like fun. Matthias tells them that if they're interested, he's going there tomorrow. His brother Heinrich was supposed to be back by now, but he must be having a good time.
So, not in the guidebooks. This is going to be clearly the most dangerous place in the world.
Oh, yeah. We don't need to be there.
No, this is a terrible idea.
Yeah.
But we were talking off mic. This is the moment for me, and I think for you too, JP, having not read the novel.
Right.
Feeling something nefarious from Matthias.
Yeah, that I'll be honest, my first impression of him was that, oh, you stole that earring, or you seen it on the floor and you went and grabbed it and came to be a hero, and because even him turning around to walk away, it kind of seemed sheepish, like he's like, I'll just go, my services are done. And them being like, hey, you want to buy a drink? He's like, yeah, hey guys, you know.
No, it kind of was.
And so
And now I can lure you to this terrifying place.
Figure out what you guys are doing, your plans. Let me try to infiltrate those, and I'll take you to my ruins or wherever the fuck we're going.
Yeah.
But I felt the same thing.
And it just turns out he's the nicest guy who ever lived.
Yeah. The group exchanges glances until Jeff finally speaks up, asking what they think. An ancient Mayan temple off the beaten path? Maybe a little culture before they leave? After a pause, Stacy asserts that she wants to go. Amy is surprised, but Stacy doubles down. After kicking Jeff's ass in cards, she's got nothing left to do here. Eric is like, wow. And when Jeff asks him if he's in, Eric is, as long as they're back for Make Your Own Taco Night. Amy giggles, and when Jeff looks at her expectantly, she sits up. Do I have to wake up early?
Maybe everybody is appealing to me right now because I love this idea of getting a little culture before you leave on a vacation.
Right.
I love the idea of not wanting to wake up early. And I love the idea of taco night. Like, dude, maybe this is the greatest group who ever.
I am in. But two Greek guys, played by Chris Ariousis and Alexander Gregory, pull their attention when they cannonball into the pool. In between roughhousing in the water, they call out, inviting them to a beach party tonight. Matthias waves this off and confesses to his new friends that those guys were supposed to come with them tomorrow, but maybe that's a mistake because they're all fucking crazy in the head. He chuckles. That night on the beach, Stacy, Jeff, and Eric sit on the sand, looking out at the waves. Amy stands in front of them, snapping their picture before taking her seat next to Jeff, albeit next to him and not snuggled up like Stacy and Eric are.
Mm-hmm.
The moon sits high in the sky, bright and small, as the waves crash serenely against the shore. But later, when the party is in full swing behind them, Eric begins the tale of a hotel heiress who dyed her hair blonde. Stacy picks up, but the carpet didn't match the drapes. Eric continues, so she stripped it away. Amy is giggling and Jeff smirks as he sips from his beer, but Matthias doesn't understand. He doesn't get the joke. Jeff assures him that he doesn't want to know. But when Amy gets up and staggers around laughing, Stacy continues that the hardwood floor underneath was all scuffed and dirty. Eric adds, so she buffed it. Stacy, but then it was too slippery. She pinches her boyfriend's nipple and he yelps, but Amy has moved on from their little joke and is now swaying to the music coming from the party behind them. She asks who wants to dance with her.
They're clearly just yes-anding each other, but Jeff's like, oh, you don't want it.
I know.
You don't want any part of that.
One of them says so, and one of them says but, and it's just a little back and forth.
It seems fun as hell.
Yeah. He's like, oh, but you don't want none of this hot fire. Amy sets her sights on Jeff, but when she sits in his lap and invites him to dance, he declines. He's just not feeling this one. Eric reminds him that they've only got 2 days left. He wants to see some moves. Amy says that it's just like playing the trombone before announcing to everyone that Jeff used to play the trombone in high school. Eric laughs at this, and Jeff sarcastically thanks Amy for sharing that with everyone. But Amy says that he won a prize for it, and now he's going to be a doctor, and he's going to win a prize for that. She smiles at him proudly, but when the Greeks come over, led by Dimitri, played by Dimitri Bavaius, she's on her feet, greeting them happily. When she's offered a liquor bottle by one of them, she takes it and starts gulping down the liquor inside. Jeff calls out to her, concerned, telling her, no, no, no. And Stacy looks worried for her friend, but she laughs when Amy falls down onto the sand, drunk and giggling.
That was fast.
Jeff goes over, alerting her gently that it's time to go to bed, but Amy shakes her head. She doesn't want to. Jeff decides that he's calling it a night then. Amy grins at him, pretend pouting, and asks him to stay. But Jeff just tells his friends to make sure that Amy gets home, gives his girlfriend a kiss on the forehead, and departs. I laughed out loud.
That's wild, right?
Yeah, I did not laugh. I was like, in what universe do you let your partner fall on the floor drunk, laughing and whatever, and then it's like, come to bed. No. I'll see you guys later. Yeah.
You guys can take care of that, right? That's unbelievable.
I didn't understand. I was like, okay.
It's wild.
I guess he needs to leave for some reason. That's got to be the only reason this is happening.
He needs his rest.
All right.
They've got a big day tomorrow.
That's true. Sure.
He's not even out of sight when Amy pops back up, calling for Matthias, who she calls Mateo, and is promptly corrected. She holds her arms out to him and asks him to show her a German dance. Matthias is like a waltz? But she pulls him to his feet. Matthias tells her that he can't dance, but Amy insists, pressing herself against him. Matthias holds her reluctantly as she leans back into a dip. Eric and Stacy watch from the sand, and Eric wonders how much Stacy wants to bet that Amy is going to kiss Matthias. Stacy excuses the behavior. Amy is freaking out because Jeff's med school is like 2,000 miles away.
Got a lot of exposition going on here.
No.
It's only natural she'd want to cheat on him while they're still together.
It's so weird.
Matthias twirls Amy, and Amy seems very impressed. Eric takes in this excuse and asks again, so how much? Stacy is positive that Amy will not kiss Matthias, so Eric comes up with the wager. Winner receives oral sex. Amy agrees, and the two shake on it.
That was already on his mind.
Wow,
He's like, how about
fair?
Just spitballing.
It's just coming to me as I'm speaking right now, but
Stream of consciousness.
Amy continues to dance next to Matthias, and Matthias looks over at Eric and Stacy with confusion. Finally, Amy slides her hand around the back of his neck and pulls his face toward hers. But Matthias keeps his neck stiff, resisting her pull. He points out, Jeff's a nice guy. But she still pulls him, and instead of kissing her, Matthias turns his head to the side, prompting Amy to kiss on his ear instead. Still clutching his beer bottle, Matthias waves his hand to get Eric and Stacy's attention, and he points at Amy. Spotting this, the smile drops from Stacy's face, and she jumps up, rushing to her friend. As soon as she makes it to Amy and tells her that she'll dance with her, Matthias immediately flees.
I appreciated Matthias's reaction.
Yes.
Yeah.
Because it could have gone way differently.
Mm-hmm.
But I'm pretty pissed off. How are you going to call yourself even just a tangential friend of Jeff's?
Yeah.
And just watch and make bets about, mouth stuff.
Well, hey, it was a fair bet. You shouldn't have taken it. You knew your friend.
You know your friend.
Yeah, you knew your friend.
So this is like, what was that? The one in Seinfeld where he bet that Dustin Hoffman was in Star Wars, and he's like, yeah, I was wrong.
Yes. It's exactly.
That's what it feels like.
The next morning, wispy clouds stretch across the bright blue sky. Waves crash against the shore, and Jeff runs along the beach. He strides past a couple of the Greek guys passed out in the sand, and he chuckles at them. He finds Matthias at a table next to the pool eating breakfast. Dimitri sits with him, copying down information from a map and a book on the table. Matthias explains that the place his brother went is only on the old map. It's gone from the guidebook. When Jeff asks what they're doing, Matthias says that Dimitri is copying the map from the girl that his brother left with for his friends. Jeff jokes that his friends sure look like they could use a map, and he and Matthias agree to meet in the lobby in half an hour after he rallies the troops.
Just a couple things. First of all, that breakfast looked good as hell.
Yeah, it did.
I wanted to commend some of the framing of these shots. Mm-hmm. That beach and the ocean and the sky behind it.
Beautiful.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely beautiful.
Oh, yeah.
There's some more stuff later where things get a little more frantic for reasons, obviously.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
But you would not believe the cinematographer of this film. It was Darius Kanji.
Okay.
He shot 7
Yeah.
uncut gems.
Uncle John's.
You knew it was coming. Should have saved that for last.
Now we're distracted.
Yeah, he recently did Eddington and Mickey 17, but please.
Oh, Mickey 17 was so good. Dimitri rushes to his passed out friends. He gently lifts up one of their heads and slides the makeshift map between his cheek and the sand. But in Eric and Stacy's hotel room, Eric is still lying in bed when he asks his girlfriend if she knows what they do to people around here who don't honor their beds. Stacy pulls off the towel wrapped around her and warns him, nude, that the bus is leaving in like 15 minutes. She starts to pull on her clothes, but Eric continues. They smash their hands. It's brutal, but it happens. Clad in her white tank top and underwear, Stacy rips his blankets off, imploring him to hurry because Jeff is going to be pissed if they miss it. She rubs lotion onto her arms while Eric mocks the wrath of Jeff, followed by the even more frightening whining of Amy. Stacy says that Amy isn't that bad, but Eric ventures that she's got to be feeling pretty awkward by now. Stacy demands that Eric not say anything. She pushes him back onto the bed, telling him not a word. But before she can get away, Eric grabs her hands and stops her, musing that it'd be a shame to smash these pretty little hands.
Did anybody else think that somebody was going to get their hands crushed in this film?
Yeah. I think that like we've been trained to like, oh, that's that's gonna come back later.
It's like, oh, it means nothing. He's just
like, look, pay up.
yeah.
Well, it's been mentioned twice.
Right.
So, yeah.
Exactly. It's like they wouldn't be mentioning crushing hands several times.
Was Mike Flanagan involved in this production? But Stacy asks him to just please get in the shower, but Eric convinces her to come closer. Stacy sits down on him and he reminds her, "You're in Mexico, muchacha." She can't expect to lose a bet like that and just walk away free. Stacy leans in, wondering how much she owes him again. And Eric raises his eyebrows, promising that he'll be quick.
That's hilarious.
So quick.
Well, they've got plans.
Yeah, he's like,
hurry.
we're not even going to be late, dude. And we immediately cut to Amy sitting in front of the toilet, holding back her hair and vomiting. That was a funny cut.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Jeff finishes in the shower behind her and wraps a yellow towel around his waist before he steps out. He asks Amy if she's okay, and she says weakly that she's fine. Jeff steps past her, offering that she doesn't sound fine. Amy sits in front of the tub, sarcastically thanking him because that's really helpful. I'm like, oh, you hate him, I think.
Yeah. Yes.
It's like, where do you think Matthias is?
If something happened, do you think he's the type of guy to like tell on somebody or like, no?
Could he keep a secret?
I think he could, right? Jeff gets Amy a glass of tap water and encourages her to get up so they can get going. But Amy proposes that maybe she shouldn't go. He'll be back tonight and she can just sleep till then. Pulling on his clothes, Jeff asks if she really wants to spend their last day there sleeping. She stands and shrugs that she can hang out and read a book or something. Jeff informs her that people come from all over the world just to see these ruins, and this one isn't even on the map. Packing snacks into a bag, he assures her that he's not just taking her to some tourist trap. Interesting choice of words.
Mm-hmm.
Doesn't she want something to shoot besides the beach, the pool, the beach, the pool? But Amy lies down on the bed, reasoning that Jeff is already dressed. He might as well just go without her. Jeff sets his bag down and crawls into bed with her, holding himself above her when he admits that he doesn't want to go without her. And with that, Amy smiles, gives him a kiss, and decides, okay, let's go. There's a knock on the door, and when Amy opens it, Stacy and Eric stand ready in the hallway. And when Amy asks Eric what he's so happy about, he feigns ignorance. Later, Eric, Stacy, Jeff, Amy, Matthias, and Dimitri all get off the bus. Matthias tries to call his brother again, but he doesn't get an answer. When Eric asks what they're supposed to do next, Matthias says that they take a taxi. When asked, he says it's about 18 kilometers away, which Jeff explains is about 11 miles, maybe a little bit more. Matthias says that after that, there's a path and they'll hike for 4 kilometers. Amy is snapping pictures of some children sitting together and talking, and she chimes in that no one said anything about a hike. But when Stacy calls her over to look at sombreros with her, she goes. Matthias points out that the problem is there's no taxis around. Dimitri speaks Greek to him, and Matthias understands, but Jeff and Eric admit that they don't know what they're saying. The bus behind them pulls off, revealing a parked taxi. The men approach and knock on the window to get the driver's attention, but a dog jumps up from the truck bed, barking. Dimitri barks back at it, but the taxi driver, played by Patricio Almeida Rodriguez, gets the dog to calm down.
I wouldn't be calming the dog down. I'd be like, don't fucking bark at my dog.
Yeah.
That is foolish behavior if you think I'm going to fucking take you anywhere
I
after this.
He rolls down the window, and when Jeff asks in Spanish if he can speak English, the taxi driver says yes. Matthias presents him with a map of the ruins and asks how much it would be to take them there. The driver takes one look at the map and tells them that that place is no good. He can take them all to a big pyramid instead. But when Dimitri presents him with $20, the driver changes his tune and says that he'll take them. They call Amy and Stacy over, and they all pile in the truck bed, leaving the dog to ride shotgun with the driver.
I guess it can't be that bad if right away he was like, fuck it, I'll take your money.
Very quickly.
Yeah.
$20 is $20. I understand Matthias's motivation to go there because my brother went there and
Yeah.
I have not heard back from him. But if I'm any one of these kids, these American kids that have joined in this, I would not. That would ruin it for me.
Mm-hmm.
The driver being like, that's a bad place. That place is no good. I would not want to go there.
No, yeah, but and even now you saying that, thinking about it, you're right. I would have liked for Matthias to be maybe a little more panicked or maybe more a little hurried, because it does still kind of seem like, hey, I need to get these Americans to these ruins.
Okay.
That's true, because firstly, he was trying to call his brother unsuccessfully.
Yeah.
So he should be a little more panicked for
Yeah,
sure.
yeah.
Yeah.
But then there is that little conversation between him and Dimitri, and it's like, what are you saying?
Yes.
Are you are you working together to get us there?
Yeah.
Right. Nah. maybe not, you know? But no, a local saying, don't go to that place.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not going to that place.
It's a bad place.
It's a bad place.
That's frightening.
No.
But they leave on a dirt road, clamoring and taking pictures while the wind carries away the dust of their departure. The driver takes them down a forest road, jostling them on the uneven ground before coming to a stop. Everyone gets out of the truck with Stacy thankful that the ride is over because her jeans got dirty.
Or maybe this group isn't.
Yeah, no.
Jeff goes to the window to thank the driver and receives a card from him. The taxi goes back the way they came, and once he's gone, Amy wonders how they're supposed to come back. Jeff holds up the card and says that they'll call the driver to pick them up, but Amy laments that they're not going to get any service out here. Matthias offers that his phone should work. It's a world phone. Eric presses his own phone to his ear, joking, "Can you hear me now?" But Amy snaps at him that that's not funny. It's like a 20-mile hike and she's going to have to do it in flip-flops. Jeff corrects her that it's actually 11 miles, and Eric amends that his joke was a little funny. Why the fuck are you wearing flip-flops?
I don't know. It's just funny. He's like, we've all seen the Verizon ad. It was hilarious. But yeah, that's a really good question. I wishful thinking. Yeah, I would love it if the taxi rode us like right next to the temple and we just like walked out, onto the steps like immediately or whatever.
Yeah.
But you have to, again, what was this presented to you as?
Right. Because even if we're given the red carpet to the ruins or the temples or whatever.
Yeah.
They're still old. They're still rocks. We're still outside. We're in nature where you shouldn't be wearing flip-flops, period.
No, and you were already told that Heinrich, the brother, came here as part of an archaeological dig.
Yeah.
So I think that the flip-flops is foolish. Stacy's white pants are foolish.
Yes, yeah.
I feel like there are a lot of bad decisions made. Matthias holds up his phone, assuring them that it's working, problem solved. He suspiciously eyes an abandoned Jeep, and when Eric asks if that's his brother's car, Matthias answers that it is. At Amy's request, Jeff gets her sunglasses out of the bag. She is still insisting that it wasn't funny, but Dimitri is ready to go. Stacy comes over, smacking Amy on the butt in an attempt to cheer her up and offering a piggyback ride. Amy smacks hers in return, asserting that she doesn't want one, but they fall in line behind Eric and Dimitri. Jeff slings his bag over his shoulder and brings up the rear with Matthias.
And I don't know if it was just me, but again, too, Matthias waiting for the whole group to go forward and then him coming at the end. I was like, no, you're our guide now.
Yes.
You go to the front.
It feels wrong.
Yes. Yeah.
That's really fair. I guess because of my prior knowledge, I didn't think that because, whatever.
Right.
But seeing it through that lens, it's like, yeah, he does.
Yeah.
He does look pretty fucking suspicious. As they trek down the path, Eric and Stacy start up their game again. Eric begins, there was a girl who got really, really drunk one night. And Stacy adds on, but she sobered up really, really quickly. Matthias asks who they're talking about, but Amy explains humorlessly that it's the stupid game they were playing last night. So Eric takes his turn, but not before she got drunk and stuck her tongue down some guy's throat. Amy smacks Eric in the back of his head, knocking his hat off.
Yeah, that's not suspicious.
Yeah, no shit.
Jeff's like, why'd you hit him?
Yeah, shut the fuck up, Eric.
Are you the girl in that story?
That was so ridiculous, dude.
She falls back with Matthias, who's keeping an eye on the map. When she asks how much further, he says that they'll cross a stream and there should be a path to the left. But if they see a village, then they've gone too far. Amy is surprised to hear that there's a village, so Matthias gives further detail. It's a Mayan village. As Matthias slaps a mosquito on the back of his neck, Amy wonders why they left the hotel again.
She was already reluctant from the beginning, but she has done nothing but complain.
Yeah.
And hit people.
Yeah.
Maybe she should call the taxi guy.
Jeff's like, I should have just fucking
Yeah.
I should have just left her there. Trying to maintain their balance, they make their way down a hill to the stream. Stacy laughs when she nearly falls, but Eric is focused on the smell. He whines that it fucking stinks. Stacy tells him that he stinks, and before the two can start their playful back and forth, Jeff asks how much further than the stream is it. Matthias says that it should be right after it, and he sets his bag down, looking around as he realizes that there's no trail. Amy takes a water bottle from Stacy, and as she drinks, we pan over to see two little kids, played by Nathan Vega and Tanisha Marquez Munduate, watching her from atop a hill. Amy spots them and tells her friends to look, but she's not even able to get the lens off her camera before Stacy calls out to the children, "Hola!" Amy tells her not to scare them, but Stacy says that she won't. She continues to talk to the kids, asking how they are in Spanish, but they don't answer. They just continue to stare at the group of strangers with no change in their expression. Stacy comments that they look sad. Eric wonders if they should go talk to them, and Stacy thinks they should. Maybe the kids could guide them. But Matthias is still consulting the map before looking into overgrown greenery. He rips one of the plants out of the ground and tosses it out of the way before disappearing inside. The little boy walks away from his post up on the hill, and the rest of the group notices Matthias. Ripping more plants out of the way, he unveils a hidden path.
If you're following the exact path that your brother and this archaeologist took, why are you having to rip up shit?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's true.
Isn't that a little peculiar?
Yeah.
Stacy wonders why it was covered, and Amy doesn't think it's the right one. But when Jeff asks if it's on the map, Matthias says that it is. Amy points out how old the map is, and Stacy wants to know again, why was it covered? Jeff shrugs that maybe archaeologists didn't want people to find the site. Amy quips that they're going to be thrilled to see them then. So Eric amends. Maybe they just found something valuable and they didn't want people to rob it, and they get the Mayans to keep people away. Unease settles among the group as the little girl continues to watch over them from the hill. Amy appeals to Jeff. It just feels weird. He asks if she really wants to turn around and head all the way back, but Dimitri is finished listening. He starts down the trail, and Matthias swings his pack over his shoulder, ready to follow. This settles the conversation, and the group collectively makes its way to the hidden path, all except for Jeff, who takes one last unsettled look at the little girl before following.
You're going to regret it.
Yeah. If the kids aren't helping, and like you said, we had to find this path.
Yeah.
This all seems like a very bad idea.
On their way, Eric asks if they really think those kids were Mayans. Aren't Mayans extinct? Didn't they die from some fucked up disease? I was like,
Jesus.
Yeah, what?
Amy tells him sarcastically that that's great, but Eric continues that they could be walking over an ancient graveyard right now. Stacy doubts it, and when Eric mocks her, she asks if he was mimicking her. That's pretty good. Pretty good foreshadowing. But Eric asserts that he was just agreeing with her. Amy disagrees. They finally come to the end of the path, and in the clearing, an ancient temple towers over them, stone steps peeking out from the gathered greenery. The group marvels at its beauty, and when Amy asks for her glasses, Jeff fishes them out of the backpack, asking, isn't she glad she came now? Amy doesn't answer, but the look on her face when she slides on her glasses and stares up at the temple is answer enough. She squats down to take pictures, and Stacy poses excitedly, conceding that she knows she's a dork. When Amy tries to get Matthias's attention for a picture, he's more focused on something fluttering at the top of the temple. A tent. Matthias points it out to the rest of the group, but any speculation is cut off by the sound of horse hooves. A man comes from the hidden path, sitting astride a horse. Upon its arrival, the horse is immediately startled, and the man, the lead Mayan, played by Sergio Calderon, jumps off his back, screaming at the group in his native language.
Sergio Calderon, he was in Men in Black in 97 and Pirates of the Caribbean at World's End in 07.
He is really good in this.
Yeah.
Like this presence, I would be throwing up.
Oh, yeah.
The way that the horse reacts to, which we'll get to in a second, and then how like this dude is like, he's not happy.
Yeah.
Like this is just really bad.
Yeah.
This is really, really bad.
Well, I wouldn't be happy either.
No.
The horse rears up on its back legs, whining, and runs back the way they came. But the man continues to yell at them. The group stare, not understanding, but Matthias turns back toward the temple and calls his brother's name. He receives no answer. Jeff suddenly gets the idea that the man wants money from them. Eric asks, like a toll? Jeff takes a 20 from his wallet and approaches him tentatively. Senor? Dinero? The man immediately wags his finger at the proposition, and Amy's dumbass takes this opportunity to snap a picture of him. Jeff is like, Amy, stop. I was like, you fucking stupid bitch.
God damn. Dude,
Why? I'm sorry. Why?
We're dead now. Thanks.
Yeah. You've killed each and every one of us. Do you remember on Shaun of the Dead when Ed was rewinding the camera? That's how it felt. It's like, you gotta be fucking joking me.
The sound of approaching horses echoes through the trees again, and this time it's two of them. Sitting on their backs are a bowman and a horseman, played by Jesse Ramirez and Balder Moreno. They jump off as their scared horses head back to the path, and they confer with the lead Mayan. Eric asks what the fuck they want, and thinking pragmatically, Jeff tells Matthias to show the men a picture of his brother. Matthias takes out his phone and slowly walks toward them as Jeff gently explains in Spanish that this is his brother. He says that they're trying to find him. Matthias hands his phone over, indicating his eyes and then a photo of his brother. Have you seen him? And I'm sorry, how much more do you need to hear these people say before you get it through your fucking head that they're not speaking Spanish?
Yeah, I don't really get that.
I'm like, you've been in Mexico for a week or whatever the fuck. You don't know what Spanish sounds like by now? You're speaking it a little.
Yeah.
I don't know. I was just getting frustrated because they're like, Senor. It's like, dude, what the fuck? Open your ears. I was getting so frustrated.
You're embarrassing everyone.
This is why they all hate us. The world hates us because of shit like this. The men talk quietly amongst themselves while they look at the picture, but Amy is once again raising the camera to her eyes. She focuses the shot and finally takes the picture. The resulting click snaps the men's attention toward her. They are furious, and the lead Mayan even pulls a gun from his pocket. Amy raises her hands innocently, leaving the camera to dangle from the strap around her neck as she stands in the greenery.
I don't know why it's so funny to me, but Jeff straight up was like, stop taking pictures.
Yeah.
And she's like,
Just one more.
Yeah.
I'm a photojournalist, maybe. I don't know what.
Yeah, we don't know.
I don't know anything
what
about
the
her.
backstory-
Yeah.
Because why is it so important?
Yeah.
You know that all that's going to do is just
not-
piss people off more.
It's
Yeah.
not. And I know that I'm joking about it earlier about this is why the rest of the world hates Americans or whatever, but this is so egregious that I'm like, are we making commentary
Yes.
about how fucking oblivious like Americans traveling abroad, how disrespectful and oblivious of like that Americans can be at times? Because I'm like, this is fucking next level.
With stuff like this, and then especially a line that comes up later.
Yes.
I was like, is this satire?
I feel like
Okay,
that aspect of it, I'm choosing to
I
believe
hope.
that it is because this is fucking crazy. Like,
It is.
and I just not even like attempting to identify the language that you're being spoken to, thinking that you can just wave cash around and get whatever fucking way that you want. Like, it's very. I get what you're putting down,
Right.
but I hope that that's what they were putting down.
Same.
Okay.
Jeff tries desperately to explain in Spanish that it was just a picture, but the men are screaming, their angered voices overlapping. Dimitri goes over to Amy and takes the camera from around her neck. He holds it out toward the men, asking if they want it. Jeff implores everyone to calm down, but the voices all stop when Dimitri suddenly takes an arrow in his left shoulder. He stands stunned for a moment before he is promptly shot in the head. Dimitri falls to the dirt, instantly dead, the arrow sticking defiantly from his chest. Everyone panics. Matthias turns toward the men, begging them to stop. But when they continue to point their weapons and scream, he snatches up his bag and scrambles away toward the temple. They frantically climb up the steps, and when Stacy is fighting off a panic attack, Jeff stops to coach her breath. Below, the men are strategizing, and when more of them rush out of the trees, Amy, Jeff, Stacy, Eric, and Matthias climb to the top of the temple, the latter screaming his brother's name. From their high perch, they look below at the angry gathering men and at Dimitri's body, limp and bleeding in the dirt.
This is Amy's fault somehow. I'm gonna be honest. I'm straight up not having a good time. Like I don't like how this is all playing out. Again, we are, like you're saying, maybe it is satire, or it's commentary, whatever. But if it's not, and this is how we got here, and you're not paying attention or reading the situation of how dangerous this is, where we're at, you wore flip-flops, you're complaining in the bed about we're on vacation together, but you want to fucking go to sleep. Then again, we're here. You're not listening, like you said. He's like, Jeff's like, stop, dude. And then she's still doing it. Then this dude gets shot with an arrow. We're running up. I'm like, what the fuck is happening here? Like, how did we even get here again?
It's a lot from a poorly drawn map, but a lot of shit's going really, really crazy.
Yeah.
And it's just like, I don't know. And just their reactions to everything. First thing is fucking Amy, of course, with the camera.
Yes.
That is unbelievable.
Yeah.
Also very funny to me is that Jeff's like, well, I know how to solve all the problems. I'll just give him her camera.
Yeah, it's nice.
It's great. But I think that the situation with Dimitri, how do you react to that?
What can you do?
I don't know. I don't know if they thought that if they would run up the temple that there would be just as usable stairs on the opposite side, steps, that they
I
could just
don't know.
go around or what.
I think it is sheer panic. And again, on Matthias's side, he thinks his brother's up there. Like he said he was going to be here. His car's still here. You see the tent up there. So like, I get it to that extent. And you can't run back into the trees because they're in the trees.
True.
Yeah.
But if this is your reaction to me showing up, my brother is dead.
Yeah.
I hate that for me.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
it's just like, I don't know. The way that it unfolds, it is very tense and it is very frantic and chaotic. So it does kind of give you that feeling of, maybe that is what I might do in this situation, is run up those steps, because where else do I go?
Right.
And I will say too, in the novel, it's not a temple like this. It's just a big hill.
Oh.
And then once they get up, there are reasons that they cannot come back down, which is the same in the film, and we'll get there in a minute. But they just run, and we'll see what happens. Now, at the top of the structure, they see the campsite, one blue tent and one yellow one. Matthias unzips the blue and peers inside while Jeff investigates the yellow one. They are full with supplies and sleeping bags, but completely devoid of anyone, including Heinrich. Sweating, Jeff turns his attention to Eric and tells him to take out his phone. After consulting it, Eric reports that he doesn't have a signal. Jeff doesn't understand. If he had one down on the road, he should have one here. But Eric corrects him. He didn't get one. He never said that he did. Amy snaps her attention in their direction, reminding him of his joke. Can you hear me now? What the fuck was that?
A joke.
Eric yells back that it was just a joke. And when they start to shout over each other, Stacy begs them to stop. I never took that as him having a signal.
No, if anything, it was just commenting on the fact that Matthias had a signal.
Yes.
Yeah. That's what it seemed like. I'm making fun of him.
Yeah.
Yes. Jeff remembers that Matthias definitely had a signal, but Matthias burst that bubble. The men down there took his phone. This news washes over Jeff, but he offers nothing. There's nothing to say. Amy begins to cry, but Stacy looks down at the hole below them, leading into the darkness of the temple. She asks if that's the dig. Matthias screams down into the dark, calling his brother's name, but he only gets his own echo in response. Jeff ventures that there could be another way down, and he walks off to investigate.
So now that we've seen nearly the entirety, at least of the exterior of this temple, we have to talk about it.
Oh, yeah.
You will not believe who the production designer of this film was.
Okay.
It was Academy Award winner Grant Major. He worked with Peter Jackson, starting, I believe, with Heavenly Creatures, and he did King Kong in 2005 as well.
Okay.
But he did all 3 of his Lord of the Rings films.
Holy
Very
shit.
nice.
And this work is incredible.
Yeah.
They were talking about it on this featurette, and he actually was mentioning his work on the Lord of the Rings trilogy as kind of a mindset that he had going into this as well. He had said, if they don't believe that this is Middle Earth, then they won't believe in elves and goblins. And it's a really wise way to think about it as a production designer.
Yeah.
It's so true, too.
And he said the same thing goes here. And so whenever they were scouting for the locations, they're trying to find something that looks like Mexico. And as you had mentioned earlier, they didn't find it in Mexico, but they eventually did find it, everything they needed, in Queensland, Australia.
Okay.
But he had said that he and his team shooting on location were able to utilize the environment for their design to keep it realistic and believable, again, leading back to his mindset with Lord of the Rings.
Yeah.
But he said that they also researched extensively Mayan culture and architecture so that they could make the design of their temple as accurate as possible, which I thought was really respectable.
Yes.
And as you had mentioned before, I did see an interview with Ben Stiller where he had said that it was in the novel more of a mound, not a temple.
Okay.
But they thought that the temple itself would be more cinematic and more suitable for a film.
Yeah.
That's fair, I think.
But this is what really surprised me. We have 2 separate locations here. We have the steps themselves and the top of the pyramid. And the top of the pyramid is a separate set that was raised 10 meters so that you could have the 360 surrounding area of these real trees on location. And so that you could actually give it this feeling of height to sell what is going on in the narrative.
Yeah.
But they said that it took 7 weeks to build both sets, and they're, again, on separate locations, and they are later combined digitally.
That's crazy.
That is wild.
Yeah.
I never in a million years would have guessed that.
No.
But the shaft, the chamber that they're looking into right now,
Yeah.
this was on a studio set.
Okay.
This was the thing that was not on location, but it was built, I think they said 28 to 30 meters deep. And the chamber that we'll get to much later in the film was also on a studio set, but just on a separate one from where they were. I think they said it was Warner Roadshow Movie World Studios, which is a mouthful, but
Yeah.
I could not believe, firstly, that they did so much on location, but that it was shot on location and combined digitally.
Okay.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Though. Jeff and Matthias walk to the edge, peering down at the people below. There's more now, standing guard. Women join them, walking with items in their arms and baskets balanced on their heads. Jeff realizes that they're setting up camp. Gathered together again, Amy asks why they're doing this. Eric wonders if maybe they're setting up for something, like a sacrifice. But Jeff is certain that it has something to do with the ruins. Roll credits. They won't come up here. And now that the group is up here, they won't let them leave.
How do we get down from here?
Precisely. Eric asks if they're just supposed to wait for someone to find them. And Amy rightfully questions, who? Matthias realizes, the Greeks. Jeff agrees. Dimitri left them a copy of the map before they all left. Eric is like, yeah, well, what if they decide not to come? Jeff is sure that somebody else will. They were supposed to check out of their hotel tomorrow, and if they don't, the hotel will call the police. Eric questions, when? Jeff shrugs, tomorrow or the day after. Not even bothering to turn and look at him, Amy reminds her boyfriend that their flight is tomorrow. Jeff obviously knows that, but they also know what will happen to them if they leave. Eric takes a drink from a water bottle, and as he hands it to Stacy, she wonders, what are they going to eat? Where do they sleep? Jeff snatches the bottle away from her, asserting that they should save it. Eric says that Stacy is thirsty, and while Jeff understands this, he points out that they don't have that much. Taking this in, Eric wants to know why Jeff gets to decide.
It is way too early for this.
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah. Yes. And I do understand. And yes, we probably should save our water.
For sure.
But if this is me and my partner's water, no, I'll throw this bitch on the floor.
I will give you that's fair. It's like, well, maybe you should have.
Yeah. Where's your water?
Did you really think you weren't going to be thirsty on this hike?
Yeah. It's like Jeff and Amy weren't prepared.
No.
Flip flops. You want to take my water? No.
Jeff takes us on the chin, though, offering that they can all decide. They need to keep in mind, though, that they each need a half a gallon of water every day just to survive. Right now, they don't even have a day's worth. After a pause, Stacy quietly tells her boyfriend, maybe he's right. Suddenly, a phone starts to ring and everyone gets up, searching desperately for the source of the sound. They all convene over the hole at the center of the temple. Matthias tells the group that that's his brother's phone. He's positive because he and Heinrich had the same ringtone. Amy doesn't understand how that phone has signal when they don't have signal up here, but Jeff snaps into action. He tells Amy that there's a lantern and matches in one of the tents, and he asks her to go get them. He then calls Eric over to help him turn the winch. It trails a rope that Matthias quickly ties around himself.
I was a little skeptical at first because I was like, this generic ass ringtone, and he's like, that's Bart's ring. But I get it. If it's your ringtone, of course you're going to recognize it.
Yeah. Jeff and Eric turn the handle as Amy and Stacy light the lantern. Matthias positions himself over the hole, and after checking that he's ready, Jeff and Eric start to lower him. Matthias takes the lantern when it's handed to him, and as he's lowered down into the darkness, Stacy and Amy watch fretfully. Amy is glancing around and notices how weak the rope looks as it's let down, frayed and dusty. She calls out to Jeff, but just as she starts to voice her concerns, the rope snaps, hanging on by one thin strand. Jeff yells for Eric to pull him up, and they work together, hurrying at the urging of Amy and Stacy. Matthias still hangs from the rope, oblivious, but they're not able to raise him in time, and when the rope gives way, Matthias falls and is swallowed by the darkness.
I know it wasn't their intention, but they did bring him up just to drop him farther.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
That really sucks.
It should have been the other way.
Yeah. If you're closer to the ground, we'll find a way out.
That's awful. A sickening thud echoes from below, and when they lean over the hole and call his name, there's no answer. They start to panic, but Eric tells them to be quiet. He can hear Matthias. They quiet down enough to hear Matthias's pained moans echoing below. Upon hearing this, Jeff turns back to the winch, declaring decisively that one of them has to go. Amy asks, "Go where?"
Oh my God.
Back to the hotel.
Yeah.
Jeff tells her matter-of-factly, "Down." He says that they'll check the rest of the rope and make sure it's secure. Then one of them needs to go down. Amy doesn't understand why it has to be her or Stacy. Why can't it be Jeff or Eric? Jeff explains that it's because she's not strong enough. He and Eric need to work the crank. Stacy thinks it over for a moment before volunteering. Amy does not argue. She pulls Stacy into a hug and thanks her, but Eric looks at his girlfriend regretfully before turning his attention back to the rope. Down below, the Mayans gather, glancing up to the top of the temple as they wait quietly. But above, Jeff ties the rope around Stacy, and after Eric comforts her and makes sure she's okay, Amy hands her the lantern. Stacy bravely steps off the side and into the nothing below, but the rope has her secured. She holds the lantern out as she descends into the darkness. The rope spins slowly, taking her with it on the way down, but the soft glow from the lantern illuminates vines, creeping along inside the shaft, moving on their own, twitching and slightly reaching. This was very effective for me.
Yeah.
Because the way that it's lit, it's almost like, wait, what the fuck was that? Like,
Yes.
did I see that? Was that a shadow?
Mm-hmm.
Like, I really liked that.
And you wonder, you're like, well, maybe it's just the wind and it's not.
Right.
Yeah.
But, ooh.
Yeah. But after a moment, Stacy stops. Jeff calls down to her that that's the end of the rope. Stacy yells back that she's not at the bottom yet. And when Jeff asks how much further it is, Stacy uses her lantern to look at the ground below. It reveals Matthias, sprawled and quiet. Jeff asks if she can jump. Stacy looks back down at Matthias, who pants and asks weakly for her to help him. And catching her breath, Stacy faces her fear and slips out of the rope. She lands hard on the ground below, dropping the lantern and casting her and Matthias in darkness. Amy asks if she's okay, but Stacy is wincing and looking down at the blood on the knee of her white pants. She calls back that she cut her knee. Jeff asks if she can see Matthias, and she says that she can, but it's dark. Eric tells her that they're sending the matches down. Stacy asks him to hurry, and the matches fall down next to her. Above, Jeff paces, pondering what they can use. Eric proposes that they use the tents. They could take one down and cut the nylon into strips. But below, Stacy gets the lantern lit again. Matthias, still stuck flat on his back, looks over at her with wide, searching eyes. Stacy is focused on the giant glass shard stuck in her knee. She pulls it out, and squelching blood seeps through her jeans. She gives out a small cry of pain before pressing an abandoned shirt to her wound. Matthias admits in a whisper that he's scared. He can't move his legs. So I will say in the novel as well, all of the Greek guys, like the one that comes with them, they all go by different like aliases since they're in Mexico. And so he's going by Pablo. And it's Pablo that this happens to, not Matthias.
Okay.
That he falls in here and hurts himself to the point where like his back is broken.
Mm-hmm.
It's not Matthias. So yeah, I thought that was an interesting change, an odd change.
Is it to just cut down on the number of characters?
It could be, but that's the thing is like if this film would have had like room to incorporate more of the things, it's like this slow descent. Like they can't get down to him at first and he is screaming for hours and it's like driving them crazy because they're like, how is he still screaming? Like he's screaming for hours. And it's like, it really like you see them just get like ground down. Like it's this slow, descent physically, emotionally, psychologically. And yeah, we don't get that here because he's just laying down there quietly and then we immediately go and scoop him up. But it's like moments like that where it's maddening, it's horrific, like it's torturous. And it's kind of just like not like a speed run, but like kind of.
Yeah, I honestly, how quickly they were able to get Stacy down there was kind of surprising.
Yeah.
They're like, look, well, let's fix the rope. It's like, oh, okay.
I'll make a little saddle.
Get back on the horse. Stacy yells up, reporting what Matthias told her to Amy, Jeff, and Eric. She thinks that he broke his back because he can't move his legs and it smells down here. When asked what it smells like, she replies, like shit. I feel like we didn't need to say it like that.
Well, she shit her pants.
Yeah, we're all scared.
Yeah,
I think Matthias voided his bowels when he fell and lost control of himself.
Oh, well, then fuck
That's
you.
what I'm saying. I feel like we
okay,
didn't need to say it like that.
That's
Right,
pretty
right.
messed up. And
He's laying right there.
She honestly didn't even need to report that it stung.
And also
Yeah,
his
no.
breath
True,
stinks.
yeah.
And I actually had that problem before we came here.
His breath smelled all day. It's like, dude, lay off of
Good
him.
Lord.
Jeff decides immediately that they'll have to build a backboard. Amy refuses this. They can't move Matthias, but Eric is adamant that they're not leaving him down there. Jeff ignores Amy, turning instead to Eric and proposing that they use the backpack frames and the tent poles. Amy implores him to listen to himself. This is insane. They just have to wait for help. But Jeff ignores her again. He walks past her to call down to Stacy, informing her that they have to build a backboard. Stacy and Matthias lock eyes. Jeff and Eric get to work, and Jeff tells his girlfriend to get the tape out of the tent, but Amy stands by, declaring that they cannot move someone with a broken back. He knows that. But Jeff is already turning the crank with Eric, breaking the news that they have no choice. And Amy is going to have to go down there and help lift Matthias on. Amy refuses. She decides. We have to tell them. Jeff is like, tell who? But Amy is talking about the waiting people below. They have to tell them so maybe they can call someone or send for help. Are you pulling my dick, bro?
Yeah.
Have you been asleep for the last fucking hour? I hate her.
Yeah, yes. Oh, yeah.
And maybe they'll bring us some snacks of our choice if we say that we're hungry.
In your mind, they're trying to kill you.
Yeah.
They did kill one of you.
And they'd be like, good.
Yeah.
We're glad to hear it.
Let's work for us. Jeff tells her flatly that they are not going to send for help, but Amy repeats that they have to try. She walks off, and when Jeff sees that she's gone, he abandons the crank and sprints after her. Stacy and Matthias continue to wait below when Amy runs down the temple stairs and rushes back to the Mayans. She raises her hands in surrender, pleading that they need their help. Someone has been hurt. Jeff joins her, reminding her that the armed men in front of them don't speak English. Amy tells Jeff to say it in Spanish then, but Jeff says that they don't speak Spanish. I want to shake her.
It's been a long time since we've had to deal with a character that's annoying.
Oh, yeah.
Amy whines for him to just try, but the lead Mayan shouts at them angrily, pointing his gun. Amy tries to speak to them in Spanish, but Jeff is like, Amy, they've already killed Dimitri. He says that he knows that she's scared, but Amy sobs, recalling that she didn't even want to come. She shouldn't be here.
All right, Dante.
That's
Magic school.
what-
Yeah.
That's wild.
Yeah.
You, specifically just you, shouldn't be here, not we.
Yeah.
Us, not we were supposed to be here having a good time. I shouldn't be here.
Just
Fuck
me.
you guys. Me.
He's like, you're lucky they didn't hear that.
Yeah.
Because, dude, that's the start of a fight, isn't it?
Yeah.
Jeff assures her that they're going to get out of this, but Amy repeats that they have to help. They just have to. Amy pulls away from Jeff, but falls immediately to the ground. Weapons are raised at her, and Jeff puts his hands up. He tells his girlfriend that he doesn't want them to be shot. He begs her to stop, but Amy's lost it. She grabs a handful of the plants at the base of the temple and throws it at them, screaming, "Why won't you help us?" The plant strikes a little boy in the chest before falling to the dirt. The adults around him panic, turning their weapons toward him instead of Amy. The boy pleads, turning from one person to another, clearly begging for his life. A wailing woman, played by Pauline Wyman, has to be held back in the trees. Jeff whispers to Amy, trying to get her attention, but the clamoring voices go silent when the lead Mayan pulls the trigger of his gun and the little boy falls, dead.
Okay, this is much bigger than we thought.
Yeah.
Because that is unbelievable.
Yeah, I was shocked.
Yeah.
Yes. They turn the gun and arrows back toward Jeff and Amy as Jeff ushers her back up the stairs. Back on top of the ruins, Jeff secures a backboard together with strips of cloth, sticks, and duct tape. Amy speaks up, quietly recalling that his mother was right there, but Jeff has put two and two together. The kid touched the vine. Eric looks up with concern, adding, "We all have."
I appreciated that.
Yeah.
Because I was worried it was going to take them a lot longer to get to that conclusion.
Yeah. The phone rings again from down below, and Stacy gets up to search for it with the light of the lantern. She moves slowly, holding the shirt over her bleeding knee as she goes. She follows the sound of the ringing, but comes upon a mess of vines, which seem to retract and undulate in the low light. Stacy calls out, asking if there's anyone there. The phone has stopped ringing, and she cries out that she can't see it, and she wants to come back up. With the light dimming outside, Amy climbs onto the makeshift backboard rigged onto the rope. Jeff and Eric turn the crank, lowering her down.
I have to say, with found materials, this is a damn good-looking backboard.
Yeah.
I was really impressed.
No, they did a bang-up job.
It looks good.
She makes it close to the bottom, but the board stops before reaching the ground. Amy calls up to them, asking for them to go a few more feet, but Jeff laments that that's all there is. Amy gets off the board and tells Stacy that they have to send it back up, but Stacy refuses. She can't stay down here any longer. She proposes that they lift him together, one on his shoulders and the other on his feet. Amy asks, what if he twists? But Stacy asserts that it's just a couple feet. They can lift him.
It is funny that we see how far the stretcher goes down, and I know they made a little bit of extra rope with the tents, but there's no way that Stacy fell from that high and then busted her leg like that. Like, that stretcher was feet off the ground.
It was. We're going a little fast and loose.
Jeff calls down, asking Amy if she can still do it. And after a moment, Amy reports that they're going to try. Stacy limps over to Matthias and informs him that they're going to lift him up and try to get him out of here. Matthias quietly agrees. Stacy looks him over, and Amy instructs her to grab him by the hips, not the feet. If she grabs the feet, he's going to bend at the waist. But Stacy counters that if she grabs him by the hips, it's going to arch his back. Amy contemplates this and then decides. His knees. She grabs Matthias by the shoulders and he grunts in pain. And when Stacy grabs him by the knees, he cries out, his body folding at the waist and his bones crunching audibly. Amy and Stacy move as quickly as they can and flop Matthias onto the backboard. Slick with sweat, he grunts and moans, but they secure him to the board and tell Jeff and Eric to raise him up. And up he goes. I
am so pissed off right now.
Dude, it's bad.
He pretzeled immediately.
Yes. Yeah, he
and
did.
Again, fucking Jeff is supposed to be going to medical school. You can't do a clothes drag to get him closer to the fucking spine board and then maybe make it a little bit easier. But you're like, no, mate, you have one here.
We'll carry it. Oh my God.
And he offers no instructions, really. Being the only person who knows what not to do with an injured human body.
Right.
He's like, just put him on the board, dude.
Yeah.
It's not
and
that
we'll
hard.
pull you up.
What do you want?
Piece of cake.
Not piece of cake. Later, they're all back above, and Jeff is running his finger along the bottom of Matthias's bare foot. He goes up to his hand and takes it in his. He tells Matthias to squeeze it. When Amy proposes that they move him to the tent so he's not cold, Jeff looks up at her gravely with his suggestion that they not move him again. Stacy says that they can't leave him out in the open all night, but Jeff's worry is finding Matthias some aspirin or something to keep his blood moving. He walks away on his quest for medication, tasking the rest of them with searching the tents and backpacks for anything they can find. Eric goes first, and then Amy, leaving Stacy to look down at Matthias for a moment before doing what she's told. In one of the tents, Amy finds some keys in a backpack, but when Jeff calls out to them, they all reconvene. He's pulled Dimitri's plane ticket out of his backpack and presents it to them. When they don't understand the significance, Jeff explains that Dimitri is supposed to leave tomorrow morning on a 7:05 flight, and when he doesn't show up, his friends are definitely going to know something's wrong. Stacy asks how they'll know where they are, and Jeff repeats himself. They have a map. Dimitri copied the map and left it with them. They will be here tomorrow, so all they have to do is make it through tonight, and that's it. Eric proposes that they take turns keeping watch while the rest of them sleep, but Amy just questions. Sleep? First of all, Amy, shut the fuck up.
Yeah.
Is everything a complaint?
Everything.
Yes.
Everything. Did this remind anybody else of the Blair Witch Project when he's like, and when we don't turn it in, they're gonna realize we're not there. And if I'm not back, my girlfriend's definitely gonna know. It's like, dude, it's just sad because it's like you think of all the people in your life where if you just don't show back up, work is gonna notice.
Uh-huh.
You know what I mean? But it's like it's such wishful thinking because you're off the beaten path. It's like it's just scary, but sad that. Just the clinging on to this hope of like, oh, they have a flight first thing in the morning, so like they'll definitely trek out here to the ruins. Like, it's just like
well, they don't want to miss their flight.
Yeah, it's like this logic is like
he's trying
so hard, but the logic is not logicking. Later, Eric turns a crank that causes a single light to come on while Jeff is gingerly draping a blanket over Matthias. When Eric asks how he's doing, Jeff walks over to him. He tells Eric that they have to keep his legs clean because that's how it'll happen if it does. Eric is like, if what does? So Jeff puts it plainly, if he dies here. Infection. The wounded man looks over at them, weak and sweaty, and Eric asserts that Matthias is not gonna die. In the tent, Amy tends to Stacy's leg. Stacy speaks up, her breath ragged and her voice trembling with emotion. She questions, I never should have said to lift him up, should I? No. She sobs that it's all her fault, but Amy shushes her. She says that they'll get Matthias to the hospital tomorrow and he's going to be okay, but for now, they just have to rest. She lies down and encourages her friend to do the same, certain that the Greeks will be here tomorrow. Stacy and Amy cuddle together, and when Stacy asks for her friend's hand, Amy supplies it. Eric is keeping watch outside, perched on the edge of the ruins, watching the small fires in the trees below where the Mayans have set up camp. Jeff stands next to the ground below, up a few steps, listening to their chatter and looking at the guards watching him stoically from the tree line.
That would unsettle me even more.
Yeah.
The fact that they did not go home.
No.
Yeah.
They are waiting for us because we're a problem that needs to be taken care of.
Absolutely. Yeah. In the morning, Jeff leaves the tent and zips it up behind him. Amy sits alone, hugging her knees to her chest, but Jeff walks right past her to go pee in privacy. Amy glances over at Matthias, still laying under the blanket with the sheet set up over him to shade him from the sun. Jeff relieves himself on a mound of greenery, but in the vines and flowers to his left, he spots something glinting in the sun. A wristwatch. Having finished with his morning pee, Jeff brushes some of the leaves out of the way to reveal that the watch is on the wrist of a skeleton. Jeff jumps back, and when Amy comes up behind him and wraps her arms around him, he says nothing.
Yeah, he's like, hey, baby, what's going on? Are you going to tell her this fucking pile of bones?
Yeah, no shit.
I mean, why not?
So I did see that there is supposed to be a scene when they get to the top of this temple that was taken out. But it's of Matthias finding Heinrich dead in the vines.
Why is that not here?
Yeah.
It's very frustrating, especially, I'm not trying to jump ahead, but we never get resolution on Heinrich at all. I mean, obviously it's safe to assume, but I feel like that's really important and they took it out. But I was wondering, is this Heinrich?
Okay. I don't know. It's very strange that they would take. I don't understand the thought process.
I don't either, because he even has a credit and he's not even in it. Like the character of Heinrich has a credit in the film, but the scene it never made it. The scene's taken out.
That's crazy.
Yeah, I agree.
Because I still feel here, I know shit's gone down and Matthias is hurt already. But I'm going to be honest, I still forget that we're here for his brother.
Yes.
Yeah. You do lose sight of that.
Yeah.
Yeah. Stacy wakes up in the tent with Eric beside her. She glances at the vines lining the inside of the tent, and suddenly she rips the blanket off of her legs. Vines have entwined themselves around her wounded leg. They writhe and squelch. Stacy panics. She wakes Eric up, batting and swiping at the vines. She begs him to help her, but once they pull most of them away, she sees that there is a vine sticking out of the hole that the glass cut in her knee. When she screams, pleading with Eric to get it out of her leg, Amy and Jeff hear her outside. Carefully, Eric pulls the vine from Stacy's knee. Further and further, it squelches as it comes free, sodden and slick with Stacy's blood. More and more until there's finally nothing left. Eric tosses it to the side. Jeff rips open the tent and steps in, asking what's wrong. This is awful.
Yeah.
This is fucking terrible.
Yeah.
You talked about things making your skin crawl.
Yes.
This is the first of quite a few really
Yes.
successful
Yes. Yeah.
moments.
I like this.
Yeah.
When we do this gag or this whatever's going on, I was glued to the screen every time.
It's so disturbing, and like you can like almost feel what it would feel like to be pulling it. It's like agonizing. It's so bad. But also, this is another thing in the book. It's Eric that this happens to.
Oh.
Everything subsequently that happens with Stacy and these vines, it's Eric. It's not Stacy.
Huh.
So I thought that was odd as well.
Yeah.
But now that we can tell that there's something up with these vines, for sure, I wanted to talk about them a little bit. So for these vines, they hired creature designer Patrick Tatopoulos, who worked on Independence Day, iRobot, Cursed,
Hey.
Silent Hill, I Am Legend, Last Voyage of Demeter, Trick or Treat.
I love all.
Yes. He designed these vines. They hired Gary Cameron, who worked on the Matrix films, Godzilla vs. Kong, Daybreakers, using Tatopoulos' designs that were inspired by pumpkin vines. They got together a 12-person crew. They called all the vines that were clearly visible by the audience hero vines. Each of these hero vines are all sculpted by hand.
Wow.
Every single leaf and flower cast, painted, and assembled together by hand. They went through so many iterations of the leaves, retooling because they looked too threatening, too menacing, too textured. They finally got the thickness down to 0.2 of a millimeter.
Oh, wow.
So that when the actors touched it, it reacted realistically and it would move in the wind like a real leaf.
Damn.
Because the first designs, they looked scary and they're like, we don't want it to look scary. We don't even really want you paying attention to them until we want you paying attention to them.
Yeah.
So they had planned on using puppets to make them do some of the bigger things that they do later on in the film, but they decided to go digital with those moments instead. I think they were afraid that it was going to come off a little too Little Shop of Horrors.
Okay.
Because that was the only like really plant thing that they were comparing it to, and they didn't want it to be that vibe. Obviously, it's a very different vibe than what we're doing here.
Yeah. But that looks amazing.
It does. It does. But they said that the movement of the vines starts almost immediately when they get to the temple, but it's so subtle that you're not sure that you're seeing anything until that moment where Stacy is going down into the shaft and you do see it and under the light of the lamp.
Okay.
But I think that this is insanely successful. The look and knowing that they created that is fucking insane to me.
Yeah.
That is so impressive.
It's incredible, and it almost, again, kind of upsets me because it feels like on a technical level, they were firing on all cylinders.
Yes.
Yeah.
They just did not have the screenplay to meet the level of everything
Right.
else.
Yeah, because I love all of this.
Yes. But outside, Matthias asks Amy to help him. He says that something is wrong, and Amy goes over. Jeff is looking at Stacy's leg in the tent. She cries that she can feel it moving. Jeff is confused, but Eric tells him that the vine was in Stacy's leg. Amy kneels down next to Matthias as he asks her to show him his legs. He begs her to. Amy complies and pulls the blanket off, but she screams when she sees that Matthias's broken and bloody legs are completely infested with vines. When Jeff hears Amy scream his name and Matthias cry out for help, he abandons Stacy's leg and leaves the tent. Amy is trying to rip the vines away, but when Jeff goes over, she steps out of the way. Jeff is horrified by the sight, but he snaps into action. Matthias begs him to get them off, but Jeff tells him to just breathe. He pulls off one of the belts from the board and starts to tie it around one of Matthias's legs, informing him that he's making a tourniquet to cut off the bleeding. In the tent, Eric realizes somberly, it's on her clothes. Stacy looks down at her dirty tank top dotted with dirt. She runs her fingers along it as Eric adds, it's growing on us.
This is starting to feel like Jordy Verrill.
Yeah. Yeah.
I'm growing.
It's meteor shit.
Yeah. Another thing with the vines in the book too, they are like acidic. Like, so when you touch them, it burns.
Okay.
That's what ate the rope away in the book when Matthias/Pablo falls, is because a vine wrapped around it and ate the rope away.
Okay.
Oh. But in here, it's just a weak rope.
Yeah, it's just old.
Yeah. It's just old. Even though they were just using it on the dig.
Yeah.
But anyway.
Part of me wonders if it's just them trying not to give it away too quickly.
Yeah.
And then it's just like, oh, well, it's just right now you think this is a horror film that is just about these people trapped up here.
Right.
But then we unveil what it actually is. So maybe that was why they didn't.
Right. That's fair.
Yeah.
Outside, Jeff has tied off Matthias's legs. He stands and takes a few steps back, trying to catch his breath. But suddenly, Heinrich's phone begins to ring again from below. We press in on the hole in the ruins. As Jeff finishes making them torches, he admits that he doesn't know how long they'll last, so they shouldn't light them until they're both down there. He tells Amy and Stacy to link arms and for one to look to the right and the other to the left. They'll cover more ground that way. They're to search a spot and move on. Stacy receives her instructions with a face puffy and red from crying.
We're sending them down there again.
Correct.
Yes.
Correct. We cut to Amy being lowered down into the ruins, vines lining the shaft around her. Next is Stacy, who descends while Amy waits for her alone in the dark below. Once together, they do as Jeff told them. Amy lights the torches and immediately starts off with hers, but Stacy grasps her hand, imploring her to wait. Amy does take her hand, but she continues forward, adamant that they have to find the ringing phone. When the floor turns from stone to vines, Amy hesitates. The phone stops ringing, and she dangles her flip-flopped foot over the greenery. After some hesitation, she steps into it. She and Stacy walk forward, but when the phone starts ringing again, Amy realizes it's coming from a thin corridor completely covered in vines. Stacy immediately shakes her head. She doesn't want to go in there, but Amy tells her that they have to. They have to find the phone. Terrified, Stacy follows Amy inside. They make it into a bigger room, still covered in vines, but Stacy's eyes go wide with horror when she spots something. There's a body in the vines, a woman, curled up with her face obscured by the greenery and wounds on her bare thighs. Amy calls out to her quietly, but when there's no response, she steps closer, the flickering lights from the torches dancing on the still and silent body. Finally, she grabs the woman's shoulder and turns her. The woman, who I believe is the archaeologist from the beginning, turns, revealing a sunken and wounded face and pale, lifeless eyes. Amy and Stacy recoil in horror, but they see that in the woman's dead fist, she clutches a cell phone. Amy plucks it from her fingers, but when they try to use it, they find that the phone is cracked, broken, and unresponsive. But the ringing starts up again behind them. Amy turns toward the sound and starts forward slowly to the wall, where the vines congregate and small red flowers stand out. It's there that we see that the ringing isn't coming from a phone at all. The stamen inside the red flowers ripple and vibrate as air is passed through, successfully mimicking the ringing of Heinrich's cell phone. Amy watches this, the petals slightly contracting with each mocking burst of air. But when she reaches out to pluck one of the flowers, the vines snap into action and grab her by the wrist.
That is a chef's kiss.
Hell yeah, dude. This is fucking terrifying.
I wasn't expecting the petals to be making the noise. And I guess this is where you're saying the archaeologist is.
Yeah.
But to me, still, I'm going to be honest, I still didn't read that. I was just like, oh, it's his friend or his brother and his friends are here.
Yeah, I'm assuming that it's her from the beginning.
Right. Okay.
I'm not 100%. I'm assuming that it
my
is.
thing is like that temple's been here a long time. That could be anybody.
They could
all I was focused on was like that flower thing was really
no,
cool.
that I really liked.
Yeah.
It's because it adds this layer of like sentience where it's not just like this mindless creature that's hurting them. It's like fucking with them.
Yeah.
And that's terrifying.
Or you know that it can lure us.
Yes.
To take us.
Yes. It's intelligent. Like that makes it 10 times scarier. And there's a part in the book, I think it's like it would be about this time when they realize that it can do this, that they're being pulled out and the vines sound like they're laughing at them.
Oh, wow. And they got a sense of humor too.
Yeah. They're like, don't come back, bitch. It's like, just crying. Because what do you do at this point? You can't trust anything now.
No.
Yeah.
You know cell phones? That's scary. Amy screams and is able to pull herself away, but the vine-lined walls come alive. The greenery writhes, undulating, propping up the archaeologist's body in front of them and snatching the torch from Amy's grip. Amy and Stacy scream and make their way back through the narrow corridor, which is now alive with the angry vines. Amy is able to push her way through, ripping the clinging plants off of her when she makes it to the next room, but Stacy isn't so lucky. The vines hold her back, pulling her to the ground as they wrap tightly around her legs. Amy comes back for her friend, and between her pulling Stacy's arms and Stacy kicking her legs desperately at the plants, they are able to pull her free. They find the hanging rope and climb on it together. Amy pulls on it as they hold on to each other, screaming for Jeff and Eric to pull them up. As they slowly ascend, the vines gather, climbing steadily after them, growing and expanding, filling the shaft. But with Jeff and Eric diligently pulling the crank, Amy and Stacy are able to once again see the bright sunlight above.
That is an incredible visual.
Yeah.
Yes.
And why do I feel like if I put in my script pulling the crank, you guys would be making jokes and I'd
we
have to for decorum?
Because we would. Every time I wrote it, I'm like, man, am I going to get away with this?
No.
Because I would let me get away with
I know.
They're helped back onto steady ground, and when Jeff asks if they found the phone, Amy screams hysterically that there is no fucking phone. She stomps into the tent, pushing the flap shut behind her. Stacy stays behind with Eric, but when he tries to comfort her and ask what happened, she pushes him away, traumatized. Later in the tent, Eric asks, "What do you mean the flower was making the ring?" Which is hilarious. That's what I mean.
It's pretty clear, I thought.
Yeah.
The two women are crying when Amy clarifies that the flower was vibrating and ringing like a cell phone. Stammering, Eric doesn't understand how it could do that, but exasperated, Amy asserts that she doesn't know either. Stacy chimes in that it was moving. It's alive and it knows they're there, so they have to go. Jeff says they can't do that, but Amy counters that he didn't see it. She's not staying here. Jeff reasons that if they try to leave, the people below will kill them. Matthias can't even move, and they can't leave him here. Eric proposes that they don't all have to leave. He could go and try to get help. Jeff reminds his friend that they have guns. There are 50 or 60 of them down there, and they killed a little kid. But Eric is sure that if the three of them make a distraction, he can get down to the Jeep. Jeff is adamant that it's too dangerous. They have no choice but to wait. Eric pushes back. Wait for what? Still clinging to their only escape plan, Jeff reiterates, the Greeks. But Eric fires back that the Greeks can't even find their own fucking hotel room. They're not going to come out here and rescue them. Amy yells with realization that they're being quarantined here. They're being kept to die. But Jeff asserts that this doesn't happen. 4 Americans on vacation don't just disappear. His composure breaking, Jeff tries to reel himself in. He is certain that someone, the police, their parents, then fixing Eric with the cold look. The Greeks. He is positive that somebody is going to find them. They just need to be alive when they do. And this, I know, T, is what you were alluding to earlier about the kind of like satirical, you know, we're Americans. Like, this doesn't happen to Americans.
It's like, God damn, dude. Show your whole ass, I guess.
Like, can you please stop?
For me, this really came off as, I don't know if bad friend is the right, word I'm trying to use to describe here, but him being like, somebody's gonna come, you guys shut up, and it's just like, dude, why the fuck I understand the quarantine thing, I understand we are scared, but why are we just accepting this and like, no, we just gotta wait.
It feels like we're planting the seeds for a heel turn.
Yeah.
He's saying all of these things. The way that he's saying that, it's like, is he going to fuck them over so he can get away?
Yeah.
I just feel like he is desperate and flailing, and he knows logically that they're not getting out of here. And so anybody saying it out loud, it's like, no. Like, it'll be fine. It's, you know, but it's not. Like,
no.
Logically, what you're saying is not, like, the probability of that is very slim.
Yeah,
and do you think that those dudes, Dimitri's friends, are going to stroll over here and then they're going to be like, oh, no, go, you can go get your friends? Like, those
true.
guys are still like, it's very flawed. It's flawed.
Yeah, you see what happened, Amy, you know what I mean?
Yes.
The
other dude.
Yes. Yeah.
Yeah.
Disregarding this, Eric asks Amy where the keys are. When she responds that they're in the backpack, Jeff puts his foot down again. No, they have to stay together and wait until they're found. They'll keep someone constantly on guard. They'll keep their wounds covered and they'll look after each other. It's the only way, because somebody is coming. Stacy stares at Jeff with her own reservations as Amy cries harder, nodding her head. Outside the tent in the gathering dusk, Matthias lies on his own, looking over to the vines helplessly. The next morning, Jeff rips a sandwich into 4 pieces to share with Eric, Stacy, and Amy. He picks up a bottle of water and hands it to Stacy first, instructing, 1 swallow a piece.
1 swallow a piece. Dude, that's like the funniest thing I've ever heard. There's no way you can keep track of that. Or any form of like a cap for anyone.
Yeah.
My cheeks puff out bigger than yours. It's still 1 swallow, Jeff.
It's like all the cheese holding this nacho together. It's 1 nacho.
Exactly. Yeah. There's no science behind this, doctor.
Stacy takes her swallow before passing the bottle to Amy, who does the same. But Jeff has walked away with another bottle so that Matthias can drink. Matthias, still stuck on his back under the blanket, does not look well. He is pale and the wound on his head is still shiny and wet. Jeff brings the bottle to Matthias's lips, and after he takes a drink, he coughs.
So this would be the morning that Dimitri's friends are meant to go for their flight, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
We can keep that in mind.
Okay.
Jeff goes to the end of the blanket and lifts it to get a good look at Matthias's legs. We don't see what he sees, but his attempt to keep his face neutral is thwarted by the shock of what is under that blanket. Stacy is rocking back and forth when Jeff returns to his group, positive that it's still in there and she can feel it. She tells Eric to look how puffy it is, but he assures her that it's just swollen and that's natural. Amy agrees that that's what happens when you cut yourself, but Jeff settles back down, letting out a deep sigh. He breaks the news that Matthias won't last much longer like this. Hunched over her quarter of a sandwich, Amy shushes him, glancing over her shoulder at Matthias. Jeff takes a beat before reporting, "We have to cut them off." When Amy asks what he's talking about, Jeff takes another deep breath and answers, his legs. Eric is positive that Jeff is joking, but Jeff reiterates that Matthias will die if they don't.
Just the cliche, man. Tell me you're joking. Yeah, I got you, man. Actually, his legs are better than I've ever seen them.
He's better than all of us.
Yeah, give me another swallow of that water.
Eric pleads with him to just say he's joking, but Jeff isn't. Matthias is going to get infected if he hasn't already. Septicemia. When Eric doesn't know what that is, Jeff explains it's an infection, usually in the bones when it's exposed to bacteria. And that I don't believe is accurate, but Jeff is the med student. So
We have to trust him.
Yes.
I thought it was in your blood, but
Doesn't matter.
Eric dismisses this. He says that Jeff is fucking crazy, but Jeff is sure that Matthias won't last through the day like this. Amy is like, without anesthesia? But Jeff reminds them somberly that Matthias has no feeling below his waist and the tourniquets are already in place. He can just cut below them. Amy challenges, with what? And Jeff presents a knife. The rest of the group is stunned, but Jeff continues clinically. They'll have to break the bones first and then cut. Raising his voice, Eric shouts that they are not cutting his legs off with a fucking hunting knife, but Jeff will not be swayed. He reports that there's no flesh covering Matthias's bones. He is going to die. When this revelation renders the group silent, Eric is frustrated. He proposes that they vote, so raise your hands if you want to cut off his legs. Jeff raises his hand. Amy hugs her knees to her chest and shakes her head, but Stacy lowers her face as she raises her hand. Eric asks his girlfriend what she's doing, but with her head still lowered, Stacy reminds him that Jeff is in med school, and Eric agrees. He's in med school. He's not a surgeon or a doctor. He is in school. But Stacy stands firm, telling Eric that she is entitled to her vote. And perhaps the most important vote is cast when Matthias speaks up behind them. Do it. He implores Jeff. Cut them off. Eric sighs and hangs his head.
Again, I don't know if it was me, but it did feel a little bit like Jeff was like, now we got to take his legs. Like, I understand you're the doctor or whatever, but
So you think
right
he's just
away,
sick?
Well,
Like,
I'm
he's
just
just
saying he's broke or something.
Right.
Oh, okay.
He's like, no, we got to cut his legs off. Well, hold on, dude. You know what I mean? Are you sure? They got to come off. I was like, so are you just trying to kill us one by one? Are you like, what is going on here?
Honestly, you're right, because it is pretty strange. Just why do you even think that this is the solution right now?
Yeah.
Or is it just that you found a problem that you can solve?
Right.
Okay.
Right.
Because he's not going to survive.
No.
It is
No,
very
no.
clear.
Yeah.
So maybe it is, I don't know.
Yeah. We cut to Jeff, giving Matthias a drink from a tequila bottle before he gets down to business. He's going to break the bones first with a stone and then slice through with a knife. Matthias nods with understanding. Jeff says that they're heating the pan to cauterize the wounds and stop the bleeding. He assures that Matthias isn't going to be able to feel a thing, but he slips a belt between Matthias's lips, offering that if he wants to, he can bite down on this just in case. When Jeff asks if Eric is ready, Eric can only look up at him sadly. Jeff turns to Stacy and Amy and decides that they should wait in the tent. With no argument, Amy helps Stacy to her feet and the two slowly make their way to the tent. Matthias breathes heavily through his nose, clenching the belt between his teeth as Jeff instructs Eric on how to hold Matthias's legs. Jeff uses a towel to take a large stone from the fire. He raises it up high. Matthias's breathing intensifies, and Jeff brings the stone down on his knee, the flesh below reddened and eaten away. Matthias's screams are muffled by the belt in his mouth, but when Jeff quickly begins to saw with the knife, Matthias lets go of the belt and begins to thrash, crying out in hysterical pain. Jeff yells at Eric to hold him down, and after a moment of hesitation, Eric goes, pinning Matthias down by his shoulders. Jeff, meanwhile, finishes sawing the leg free and removes it, tendrils of stubborn flesh pulling free, leaving nothing below Matthias's knee. Moving quickly, he takes the pan from the fire and presses it to the stump. The flesh there sizzles, and Matthias's agonized screams renew. In the tent, Stacy covers her ears in rocks while Amy promises with futility that it's okay. But she covers her own ears when Jeff cries out for Eric to hold him fucking still. Jeff raises the stone again to break the other knee, but as the bones crunch, we cut to the group below, keeping watch, sitting and eating while Matthias's screams echo. Back above, Eric still holds Matthias down, but his cries have quieted. He rolls his head from side to side. When Amy and Stacy come out of the tent, Eric has staggered away, retching. Jeff is still cauterizing Matthias's second leg with the hot pan, and Amy calls out to him accusingly over the sizzling. He felt it, didn't he?
This is so brutal.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
But that practical effects work.
Oh, yeah.
It's beyond. It's
It
so
looked
fucking good. We can actually talk about it real quick. So Smith knew that he wanted to use prosthetics over CG whenever he could. The prosthetics designer was Jason Baird, who had done and would go on to do a lot of things. The Island of Dr. Moreau, Scooby-Doo, Ghost Ship,
Hey, there you go.
the House of Wax remake, and
Okay.
just for John Paul, Thor Ragnarok.
Oh, all right.
But he said the hardest thing to make realistic was Matthias's legs during this amputation scene. They cast Joe Anderson from the stomach down and made puppet legs. And they were made meticulously, punching in every single leg hair by hand. Joe Anderson said that it almost felt like phantom limb syndrome because looking down, it looked like his body.
Yeah.
But he couldn't feel anything they were doing, obviously, because it wasn't his body.
Yeah.
But he's like, that's my stomach. Those are my legs. But they ended up making 10 sets of legs out of silicone, like in varying stages of what is happening to him.
Yeah.
They got lumps of raw meat to study how it moved when it was jostled and manipulated, and they recreated it the best they could with silicone, foam, and chemicals. They also made legs specifically to be cauterized. They put cooking oil on the silicone, and it sizzled when the hot pan was pressed against it. So they're really
wow.
doing
That's
that.
crazy.
It is masterful work.
It is.
Yeah.
It's incredible and so disturbing.
And it also, Joe Anderson's performance.
Yes.
Throughout.
Yes.
But when Jeff doesn't answer Amy, she calls him again. Finished with his impromptu surgery, Jeff reports through pants that Matthias has nerve damage. He can't feel anything beneath his waist. Stacy rants that Matthias was screaming. He was begging for Jeff to stop. How could he not feel it when he was screaming? Jeff dismisses that it was just the visual of it. But Amy screams that this is so not okay. Thank you, Amy.
For your contribution.
Yeah. Jeff reminds her that they did not have a choice.
You absolutely had a choice.
Yes, they did.
We even voted.
But Stacy calls Amy's name breathlessly. They turn to look over at Matthias, where the vines have gathered, stretching long and wrapping themselves around the discarded pieces of Matthias's legs. They pull them away. The four stare, dumbstruck. Eric and Jeff seeing this behavior for the first time, and we pan away, revealing that the temple is completely covered and crawling with these insidious vines.
I think here we go ahead and nobody's coming. And even if they are, it's not fast enough.
No.
Matthias, I love you, man. I'm so sorry.
Sorry.
Yeah, I am so sorry. Like I'll be back.
And I think that's the other thing is here I was like, okay, so what is the purpose? Like, what do the vines hope to accomplish?
Right.
When it was with Stacy's leg, I thought they were trying to take her over.
Okay.
But then they just take Matthias's legs to eat them.
Yeah.
So I'm like, holy shit, this is just bad.
Yeah.
No matter what
That's
it is.
very astute.
Thank you.
This is bad, guys.
Yeah, I don't think we're
None
going
of
to
this
make
is
it.
so not okay.
Thank you.
There are a couple deleted scenes where it is like torrential rain, like it's pouring rain, and they're trying to like make the best of it, and they're drinking some of that tequila and stuff. And I wonder where that was placed in the film before it was taken off, because there was not much this many vines on here.
Mm-hmm.
And I think it would make sense if after the rain they've really spread
Oh.
across the structure.
Yeah.
Because it's covered now.
Yeah.
And I kind of liked those scenes too. Like, I don't feel like they should have been taken out, but whatever.
The film is so short. Again,
It is.
So
It
short.
is.
It doesn't make a lot of sense to be cutting these things.
That night, Amy and Stacy are sitting quietly in the tent when Eric walks in. They immediately tell him to check his phone. He takes it out, and after a glance, he shakes his head. Stacy asks to see it, and when he presents it to her, she snatches it away. She opens it and closes it again and again compulsively, but receives the same verdict that Eric did. He glances up at Amy before taking his phone back from his girlfriend. The three sit together without speaking as Stacy weeps quietly, but Jeff has come back down to the base of the ruins. He eyes the men standing at the tree line, aiming their weapons at him dutifully. He walks the length of the ruins, and a man follows from the tree line, following his every step, turning and going the opposite way when he does. In the tent, Amy lies next to a sobbing Stacy, who laments that she just wants to go home. Amy leaves the tent and sits down next to Eric. She asks in a whisper if he thinks Stacy is going to be okay. After a pause, Eric nods that she will. He got the vine out. He saw it come out. Amy starts that Stacy just really believes, but Eric interrupts, reminding her that she knows how Stacy is. When she gets something in her head, she convinces herself.
That's an interesting choice of words.
Yeah.
Yes, it is. The two share a look before silence descends upon them. Amy breaks it by asking earnestly if Eric thinks they're ever going to find them. Eric tells her that he honestly thinks that making a run for it is their only chance. Amy's features crumble as she begins to sob, admitting that she knows. She lowers her head and cries, and Eric puts a reassuring arm around her. But in the tent, Stacy's eyes snap open at the sound of Amy's soft crying. When she comes out of the tent with her hand pressed protectively against her side, Eric's arm is around Amy's shoulders and she's weeping on his chest. But Stacy snaps at them. Eric, what the fuck? He turns around innocently with tears on his own face, asking what? But Stacy asserts that she heard him. She heard him fucking her.
All right. First,
Yeah.
I gotta be honest, and I don't say this lightly. I hate this. I legitimately hate this.
Eric is like, excuse me?
Yeah.
Okay, so in the book, like I said, they're taunting, they're laughing at them. There is a night where they get drunk. I think it's been a while since I've read it, and I've read a lot since then. I think it's Eric, Stacy, and Amy, and they're drinking and they talk shit about Jeff. And the vines run it back to Jeff. Like they replay them talking shit about him.
I heard it through the grapevine.
Yeah.
Monday Instagram song. But yeah, and then Eric, when he's drunk, he like makes a bad joke and he calls Matthias a Nazi just because he's German, and the vines replay that again and again for Matthias, and so it's like trying to cause this animosity within the group, like kind of taking out of because he didn't mean it. It's a fucked up thing to say, but he wasn't really saying that about him,
right?
But taking that piece out of context and like making him think that they were, and then like making Jeff think that his whole friend group and girlfriend hate him and they're against him. Like they kind of insidiously put them against each other, like breed this animosity in this group. And I think that this is how that they were trying to portray that in the film. I don't think it's very successful, but I think that is that. I think that is the vines, trying to make them hate each other. The representation of that in the film. Does that make sense?
It does. It just doesn't work.
Yeah. I didn't like this either. I'll be honest, I was a little confused because when she was like, well, when she gets something in her head, I was like, what did she get in her head? What are you talking about?
What she got in her head is that the vines are still inside her, but I feel like that it's not clear.
No,
I understand why you were confused because
it goes from them saying that to her coming out and being like, you guys were fucking, and I was like,
to your two fully clothed,
yes, yeah,
sobbing friends,
yes,
and you're what the hell are you talking about?
Yeah.
It might have worked better if it were Jeff, because he wasn't down there to see the flowers mimicking the phone.
Yeah.
Right.
And so maybe it is starting to get into his head about some stuff that he heard them say earlier about Matthias.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And then he's already kind of paranoid, and maybe not effing, maybe kissing, maybe moaning. Because effing, that's crazy, dude.
Well,
or even
How? You tell me how.
Yeah.
Where's the doctor? How? Because that's fucking bullshit.
Yeah. Well, for me, maybe if they shared a look
Yes.
and Stacy seen it but played it off, then it's like, what are you guys doing? Then even if it was just a small one, you know how your friend is. You are making bets. You know.
Yeah.
So if you catch them looking at each other like that, then this probably would be okay for me. But the way it is, I don't know what the fuck's going on.
yeah, it's just not executed very well. And I like that
element
of the book because it's like they're fucking with them. Like there's so many aspects to what is happening with this group with these fucking vines.
Yeah.
And yeah, I think that this was just a poor representation of that aspect. But Amy immediately gets to her feet as Stacy tells Eric not to lie to her. She heard him. She repeats this accusation and Matthias watches weakly with the vines twitching behind him as her wavering voice climbs higher, demanding to know how they could do that, which is a fair question.
Yeah.
How were y'all doing that?
physically.
How could they fucking sit there and fuck when she's in the tent? Amy implores her to calm down, but Stacy fires back not to tell her what to do. Eric says that Stacy knows he wouldn't do that, but Stacy is positive that she heard him. Vines begin to creep toward an oblivious Matthias as Amy explains that they were just talking, and when Stacy says that she heard Amy moaning, Amy says that she was crying. This is when Jeff returns, asking what's going on. Stacy yells that her boyfriend is fucking Jeff's girlfriend. Amy and Eric stand by perplexed, and Amy offers that Stacy is irrational and crazy, but eyeing her coldly, Stacy asks Jeff, "You think she's never cheated on you?" Amy calls her friend's name in a whisper. But in all the
Which is a confession.
Yeah.
It's like, Stacy,
Hey, what the hell, dude?
But in all the drama, no one sees that a vine has crept between Matthias's lips, plunging deep inside his throat. Amy and Stacy are exchanging fuck yous, the latter accusing the former of never having cared about anything but herself. Eric tries to console Stacy, but she pushes him away, warning him not to fucking touch her. Matthias's body spasms, and his choking is muted by the gathering vines amassing and trailing into his mouth. Stacy fixes Jeff with her gaze and reports sincerely that Amy would have slept with Matthias if she hadn't stopped her.
They're like, oh no, Matthias.
Yeah.
That's right.
Yeah.
Who's being promptly murdered.
Yeah.
Like,
Jeff's eyes flit from her to Amy, who can only shake her head. But in the silence, one of Matthias's grunts is finally heard, and Jeff rushes to him. Matthias has stopped struggling and lies still and staring, with the vine still sticking out of his mouth. Jeff pulls them out and tries to rouse Matthias, but the damage has already been done, and he receives no response. Jeff checks his pulse and buckles under the realization that Matthias is gone. He turns back to the group, and his face is enough to break the news. Eric's eyes brim with tears as he quips, "Well, thank God we cut his legs off."
hey, come on, dude.
Not now.
I know.
Not now, dude.
You've been mad at me for a while about that.
Yeah.
Clearly.
I feel like I understand Jeff not being like the favorite character or anything. He comes back up here. Your girlfriend fucking cheats on you all the time. You cut his legs off and now he's dead. Just like let him breathe, dude.
He's been an asshole.
He has.
It's too much. It's too much. I might just run for it, and if I make it, I make it. If I don't and they get me, at least it's over.
Yeah.
This is too much.
That's true.
That's fair.
This is just too much. Amy tells Eric to shut up, but Jeff can only stare. Stacy's breath hitches when she realizes it's eating her like it was eating him. Amy tries to refuse this, but Stacy is sure. She can feel it in her side. She offers to show her, yanking up the hunting knife and bringing it to her side, if she can just cut here. But Jeff snaps into action, and all three rush at Stacy to stop her. Jeff is able to take the knife away, and Eric grabs his girlfriend by the arm, asserting that she's okay, she's fine. But Stacy pushes him away, screaming that he is not listening to her. The plants begin to whine, finding their pitch and tone before all the flowers mimic Stacy together. You're not listening to me. You're not listening to me. They all turn and stare at the gathering vines, rising in height with their mocking flowers, repeating Stacy's words again and again. Amy holds Stacy as she sobs. At daybreak, Jeff and Amy sit on the edge of the ruins, watching as a man below salts the earth around the temple. That was...
Oh,
God.
Yeah.
It's just like when you can't get any more scared. You see something that scares you more. Jeff realizes that they don't want them spreading it. That's why they won't let them leave. They're salting the soil to keep it contained. He rationalizes that it has to be really old because the birds and insects have somehow learned not to land here.
just the thought of that is really...
Yeah.
It's terrifying.
Yeah.
But it's cool.
It is.
Yes.
Very creepy.
He asks if she remembers how frightened the horses were, but Amy interrupts him. It didn't happen, what Stacy said about Matthias. Jeff doesn't even look at her when he asserts tiredly that she doesn't have to say anything. Amy insists that she does, though, because she doesn't want Jeff to... But Jeff stops her again, saying her name softly. He takes her hand and implores her. Look at us. He asks, would it matter to you? Eric comes out of the tent with a grave expression, and he asks trepidatiously, guys? It's like, there's nothing good.
No.
Yeah, but but on the cool, he is right. What does it matter?
We're all going to die.
He's dead.
What are we
We're
going to break
waiting
up?
die. Yeah. Yeah. Where am I going?
I don't know. You'll find someone else.
Yeah.
Inside the tent, Stacy sits alone at its center. She looks up when Eric leads Jeff and Amy inside. He tells her to show them. Stacy turns, wearing nothing but her dirty, once white tank top and underwear. She pulls up the hem of the tank top, revealing a twisting vine writhing underneath the skin of her back and trailing down her thigh. Eric, Jeff, and Amy can do nothing but stare. This is
Yeah.
awful.
Yeah.
Beyond. Later, Stacy sits outside with Amy and Eric as Jeff readies the hunting knife. Jeff informs her that he's going to start with the one in her leg. Stacy groans but nods in understanding. Jeff pours some tequila over her thigh, where a vine is coiled visibly just below the skin. Stacy apologizes again and again in feverish whispers, but Amy assures her repeatedly and patiently that it's okay. Jeff cautions that she might want to shield her eyes, but Stacy refuses. She wants to see it. Her breathing goes ragged, though, when Jeff brings the blade of the knife down and cuts into her thigh. Amy cautions her to breathe through her nose, and Eric can't bear to look. Stacy's panic rises, and she begins to scream when Jeff thrusts his fingers into the wound and searches for the vine.
Ooh.
It's rough.
Yeah.
He finds it and pulls it, stained with blood but still writhing, out of Stacy's leg. He tosses it to the side as Stacy sobs. Jeff asks her if she wants him to stop, but Stacy cries that she doesn't. Instead, she rolls over so that he can get the one in her back. Again, Jeff pours tequila over the incision site, and between ragged pants, Stacy admits that she's scared. Amy assures her that it's okay. She just needs to keep breathing. As Jeff digs in with the knife, Stacy screams. And when we see Jeff's work, we understand why. He is getting in there. My God.
Yeah.
He reaches in again, grasps the vine, and pulls this one, larger and squealing, out of Stacy's back. Jeff throws it to the side, and Amy assures Stacy that he got all of it. Jeff presses a shirt to her wound, and Stacy sobs hysterically.
This was a wild scene.
Yeah.
And again, it looks fantastic.
Yes. This I like.
Yeah.
Again,
Yes.
I like this.
Yeah. It is so hard to watch, though. And
Yes.
these are all prosthetics. That's really him digging in there. That's really him cutting into it.
When he puts his finger in,
Yeah.
I was like, oh, Jesus Christ.
It's rough. And I saw a featurette where several of the actors were saying how great it is to work with prosthetics and actually see what you're reacting to. instead of having to like conjure something up in your head and then they
Right.
add it later. They were like, no, these prosthetics were so good and disturbing that you could really react to what you were seeing.
I'm sure.
Later, Stacy lies quietly in Eric's lap when Jeff splits up grapes, one for each of them. When he calls her name to hand her the ration, Stacy sits up, positive that there's more. She points to her leg. It's under the muscle, by the bone. Jeff assures her that there's nothing there, but Stacy asks in a whisper if they can cut it. Jeff is firm that there's no more cutting, but Stacy repeats that she wants to. She reaches for the knife, but Jeff yanks it away from her, declaring that she can't. She can't keep cutting. But Stacy is positive that it's everywhere. It's in her head. When Eric tries to reassure her, Stacy sobs weakly. She's not okay. Why does he keep saying that to her? Amy hands over the bottle of tequila to Stacy, proposing that it might help. Stacy takes a swallow from the bottle, but when she tips her head back to drink, the outline of a vine traces under the skin of her forehead.
That was amazing.
Oh my God.
She's exactly right.
Amy, Jeff, and Eric just stare ahead, refusing to acknowledge what they've all just seen. But Stacy notices, looking suspiciously at each of them. She asks them, "What?" Amy averts her eyes, twisting the cap back on the bottle, but Stacy focuses on her. She asks, "Did you see it?" She knows that Amy saw it in her head because she felt it. She calls out to her friend, but Amy closes her eyes tight as tears fall from them. Crying herself now, Stacy begs Amy to answer. Why won't she look at her? Eric pulls Stacy close, asserting that there was nothing there. He swears. Amy raises her fingers to her forehead and sobs that it's in her head. She can feel it. Amy finally speaks up, proposing that they move her to the tent as Stacy lies down on Eric's lap. With his expression set and determined, Eric declares that no one is coming. He's going tonight. There is no more fight left in Jeff.
Do you think that it might have worked better if they had better established the vines as almost like a contagion? Like it's something that does spread because they all shared the same water after
Oh, yeah.
she had the vine in her leg.
Okay.
Yeah.
So I don't know how they could have established that, but I think that it would have been because they're even drinking right now together.
Yeah, they are.
But it's so speculative because, and I kind of like the ambiguity because it's like we don't know the rules of this thing.
Not at all.
Like, and it's the same in the book too, where the pieces of it are on their clothes, and it is like we're fucked. You know what I mean? Like it's done, but we don't know. It's not like rule one of the vine.
Yeah,
you know what
yeah.
I mean? Are we gonna get it from sharing water with her? Are we gonna get it because we have all been in contact with her blood, with Matthias's blood? You know what I mean? Like what? Where is the line?
I think rule one of the vine is it can only be a few seconds, right?
Right. That's good.
I just don't understand why we're not telling her if we already know what we're dealing with.
Fair.
We all seen Matthias. We know we have an idea. If you're fucked, I'm sorry. I would like to at least know.
I don't
Yeah.
know.
I
dude.
mean,
what is that gonna solve by being like, oh, you're right, dude. Fuck, it is in your head. We just saw it on your forehead.
even
like, what is that gonna solve?
It's gonna solve. You're right. I'm the distraction. Y'all get the fuck out of here.
Exactly. Let her be a hero.
Okay,
Yeah.
I get it.
Because honestly, if that's the case, if I'm filled with vines, I will do that.
Yeah,
If it
'Cause
means
it's
that
over
you can
anyway.
get away.
Yeah.
Right.
But instead, well,
That's fair.
That is
That's
very
fair.
fair.
Yeah.
Later, they all lie in the tent. Everyone is asleep except for Stacy, who pulls herself up into a sitting position before limping out of the tent. With cloth wrapped around her middle and her knee, she staggers to a bag and searches inside. When she doesn't find what she's looking for, she makes her way to another one, which is thrown to the side next to the vines lining the rock wall. It's here that she finds what she's looking for, the hunting knife. She pulls it from its sheath, but she looks up when the closed flowers on the vines open and begin to vibrate. She stands and looks around as they begin to mimic her panting and desperate voice. I want to cut it. I want to cut it. Eric wakes up to the sound of Stacy sobbing, and when he exits the tent, Amy and Jeff are right behind him. He finds Stacy, standing with her back to the tent, leaned over and concentrating, with her legs completely painted with her own blood. He asks what she's doing, and when Stacy turns to look over her shoulder, blood is running down her face, and we see that she has cut her forehead open. She turns, shuddering and unsteady on her feet, revealing the deep gashes she's cut into her forehead, her legs, her arm, her side. Eric stares in horror, and Amy's face contorts in her grief as she covers her mouth, sobbing. But Stacy assures her that it's okay. She turns her back again and leans forward, digging the knife back into the meat of her thigh, explaining that she's just got to get this one out.
I'm feeling much better now.
Yes! Ah! Jeff sways on his feet before walking over to her, but Stacy has already filleted the flesh of her thigh and is digging inside. Jeff approaches, demanding that she give him the knife right now, but Stacy turns, screaming at him to leave her alone and swinging the blade. She cuts him deep across the palm before returning to her work. Eric tries this time, gently imploring her to give him the knife, but Stacy turns and plunges it right into his chest. Eric stares in shock before falling to the ground. Jeff goes to him, instructing him to stay down, but when Stacy realizes what she's done, she falls to the ground too, screaming her boyfriend's name. Eric reaches out his hand for hers and they grasp each other, the blood on their hands sticking sand to them like glue, and it's only moments before Eric slips away into death.
Again, with him just being the worst medical student ever. No, you don't want to get up.
Yeah.
It's like, no shit, dude. I just got a knife in my heart.
Yeah. I know we're approaching the end of the film, but this felt really quick that we needed to get rid of Eric somehow.
It did.
Right.
I didn't like this for him at all.
Yeah.
And I thought that it was enough with the slashing of Jeff's hand.
Yeah.
It's like, well, maybe if I try. She's my girlfriend.
Yeah. She wouldn't hurt me.
Amy cradles Stacy, who sobs that she didn't mean to. Amy is crying herself, but she tells Stacy that it's okay. Stacy cries out for her lost love, and Jeff looks like he is mentally clocked out. He stares catatonically, patting Eric's chest. But when Eric's body jerks, Jeff snaps back to reality, realizing that the vines are pulling him away. Stacy screams for him, but Eric holds her close, and Jeff can only pull a few vines before losing his battle over Eric's body, and the greenery continues to yank him away. Stacy sobs that it hurts, and Amy can only cry and continue to hold her friend. But when Stacy looks up at her, she begs her, "Amy, kill me." She asks again and again, begging that she has to. Amy looks to Jeff for help, and as Stacy sobs, Jeff leans down and pulls the knife from Eric's chest before he's completely lost to the plants. The vines cry out, mocking Stacy, "Kill me! Kill me!" Their whining rises into a feverish pitch as Jeff staggers toward them with the knife. Below, the lead Mayan stands watch with an archer, and they listen to Stacy hysterically scream, begging for her friends to kill her. When her cries are abruptly cut short, the lead Mayan exchanges a look with the archer and walks away. Later, Jeff presses his hand into a pool of their friend's blood on the ground. He wipes it along Amy's arms, instructing her that once she makes it past the clearing, she's to run as fast as she can. He continues to paint her with the blood, smearing it across her face and making sure that she understands. Amy whimpers in reply, but Jeff continues. He places the keys in her hand and tells her that once she gets to the Jeep, she is not to wait for anything. Anything. And if the keys don't work, she runs and she doesn't stop until she reaches town. Amy grabs Jeff by the shirt and demands that he promise her that he'll still be here. Jeff nods his promise and the two kiss. Below, the Mayans watch as Jeff carries Amy's bloody and limp body down the long temple stairs. He sets her down in the dirt and plants a soft kiss on her lips before standing up, while Amy continues to play dead on the ground. The Mayan leader steps up and looks at him when Jeff declares that they don't even know her name. They don't know any of their names. He paces, but they follow his every move with their weapons in hand. He tells them that he's Jeff Dean McIntyre from Winnetka, Illinois. He's 22 years old and he was going to be a doctor. That was his dream. It was all he wanted. He continues walking away, leading the armed men away from where Amy lies in the sand. When he walks a little too far, an archer warns him with his bow ready, but Jeff stops walking and tells them that they should know her name too. When he takes a step forward, the men start to clamor, cocking their guns and drawing their weapons, but undeterred, Jeff screams, "Her name is Amy!" At the sound of her name, Amy scrambles to her feet and runs, with Jeff asserting that she is not going to die on this fucking hill. Amy disappears into the trees, and instead of taking the test, Jeff took 2 in the chest.
Really?
2 arrows.
2? Jesus.
He shot in the chest
Yeah.
with 2 arrows, and he's also shot in the leg with 1.
Yeah, so 3.
Yeah.
Two.
Well,
the
2 in the
chest.
chest. Okay, I'll allow it. What's going on with Amy, man?
The Mayans take off after Amy, and Jeff falls to the ground, dying and abandoned. Amy sprints through the trees as the vines start to creep toward Jeff. But while everyone else went to chase Amy, the lead Mayan stayed behind. And as the vines get closer to Jeff's legs, he draws his gun and points it at Jeff's head. Amy stops for a moment when she hears the gunshot, but she keeps running like Jeff told her, too fasting out of the way when an arrow zips past her and embeds itself into a tree. She comes to a path where Heinrich's Jeep still sits. She jumps behind the wheel, and when she turns the key the first time, nothing happens. But with the second twist, the engine roars to life, and Amy presses down hard on the accelerator with her bare foot, just as her pursuers step onto the path. Amy cries as she races away in the jostling Jeep, pulling onto the dirt road and passing a sign back to the city. But sometime later, Dimitri's friends, the 2 remaining Greeks who I thought flew home days ago, walk through the trees, and they come upon the ruins, calling out to their friend, clutching his drawn map. But as they step onto the land, it cuts to black. Phenomena by Yeah Yeah Yeahs plays, and the credits roll.
Amazing song.
Odd choice.
Fair.
Yes.
Before we, close out here, I did want to talk about the alternate ending where Amy is driving away, but as she's racing, like in the car past that sign, you see vines creeping under the skin of her face.
Ooh.
Then we cut to her funeral back in America, and there's a I'm assuming it's her funeral because it's like kind of in the background. There's a groundskeeper walking around whistling Farajaka. Well, no, it can't be her funeral because we see her grave in a second. It's a cemetery.
Yeah.
Take it back.
Edit that out. No, it's a cemetery, and a groundskeeper is walking around whistling Farajaka while he works, but then he hears something else whistling Farajaka.
Ooh.
And we see Amy's tombstone, and the vines have crept around her tombstone, growing out from where she's buried, and the vines are whistling Farajaka.
I love it.
10 times fucking better,
Yeah,
right? A million times better, right? But Carter Smith had said that he said they filmed a bunch of stuff and just decided what they wanted to keep and not keep. I think you feel that watching this because there are definitely times where it feels like things are missing. But he said that he thought that the audience had already been punished by how rough the film is, and he wanted to give them some hope at the ending. He didn't want them to leave so desolate and down.
No. Make it bleak.
Yeah.
Totally agree. It just works better because this is this is awful.
Yeah.
This is terrible.
And then the worst of us survives.
I know.
Yeah. I'm not much for the bleak, but I do feel like this movie would benefit from that.
Yeah. Do you guys want to know how it happens, how everybody dies in the book?
Sure.
Yeah.
Okay, so spoilers for the book, just skip forward, I'll be quick, 2 minutes, and then it'll be done if you don't want to hear it. If you do, listen, don't skip forward. So again, there's lots of changes. I am not going to take everybody's time and go into all the changes because there is a lot. Like I said, even like the fact that Matthias is the one here with the injury, like it's very different. So I believe that it's Amy first that dies. They do get drunk that night when they're all talking shit or whatever, and her and Jeff have a fight. I can't remember about what, but they have a fight in the tent, and he either tells her to leave or she leaves because she's mad, and he hears her throwing up all night, like retching and throwing up, and he's just like fucking over it, like he's done. And she's calling out for him all week and vomiting, and in the morning they find her, and the vines were suffocating her all night, and they're gone down her throat, and she's gone. So there's a horrible storm. It's pouring rain. And Jeff decides he's going to make a run for it because he doesn't think that they'll be able to see him because it's raining so hard. They see him and they kill him.
Okay.
As he's running away from them.
Yeah.
Eric, as I said, is the one that's infested with all the vines. He is cutting himself, and he's completely lost it. It is like with Stacy in the film, from what I remember. And she in the film kills Eric. I think he kills Matthias that way. And then he begs Stacy to kill him because he's dying anyway, and he is infested with the vines. And then Stacy decides that this is like it's a sacrificial thing. So she goes to the base of the vines and slits her wrists.
Oh, wow.
And is like, I will at least be a harbinger, and they'll see me and they will know not to come here. And the vines take her body away. So it doesn't even work.
Yeah.
And so at the end, more people do come up because when they were coming, there's a little kid that was kind of like keeping like the children that we see here.
Yeah, yeah.
And then when the next group comes, there's another child. And it's like, oh, it's just happening again.
Okay.
So, yeah. So, which I think is even a better ending than the alternate ending.
Yeah.
But it is bleak. Like it's dark. So, what did you guys think of The Ruins?
I really enjoyed the practical effects. I really enjoyed the setting, the idea, the plants, you know what I mean, coming alive and killing us.
Yeah.
You know, it's the trees or whatever.
Don't do that.
That's one we need
I
to.
know.
We got to get that one.
But I will say that some of the vines kind of reminded me, and not to the extreme of an Evil Dead going on, but I was waiting for that, and we did get a little bit of it. But I did enjoy, like I said, the premise of this, what's going on here, like I said before already, our setting and all that. For me, I think them not really, I didn't really feel like they connected and played too well off each other. I do feel like they did a good job with what they were given, these actors. And I mean, I get it. Sometimes the movie and the plot works and sometimes it doesn't. And I just feel like sometimes when it doesn't, it really hurts everything else around it or that's following it. But again, the gore, the everything, Stacy cutting herself, that was fucking like trying to get out. I was like, oh my God. Same thing with the amputation and all that. I was like, damn, this is really cool. When we're in peril, when we're in these situations where shit is just so crazy and we don't have time to think, we just need to act. That's when the movie for me does shine. When we have time to sit with things, or it is like, you guys seen that, right? I know it was there. I felt it. What are you talking about? What? Why? If this character knows already, why are we keeping information from them when we already are kind of all at like with an agreement that like we're gonna die here?
Yeah,
shit is just not going good. You know what I mean? We're sitting ducks. But I mean, again, there is a lot of good, but I do feel like the moving with it, it's really quick. And the things that don't work for it, I think really do hurt a majority of the movie for me.
No, I definitely agree. I think that it's just such a shame because like we've been talking about, the premise and the idea are fantastic.
Yeah.
And what's weird is it's clear that from the source material, there's so much to mine from it.
Yeah.
And it's just so strange to me that the same person who wrote the book wrote the screenplay.
Yeah.
Because honestly, I think that the screenplay is the weakest thing about this film.
Yeah.
It's just so odd to me. But I mean, it's so difficult because everything else around it is really good.
Yeah.
Technically speaking, that temple is amazing work. I was so impressed by it, and to learn how it was made, the way that they put it together, the way that it is digitally combined.
Yeah.
All that stuff is really impressive. The performances, even with that material, it's great.
Yeah.
I don't like any of the characters. I don't root for any. At some point, I start rooting for the vines.
Yeah.
To be honest,
You got to do it for the vibe.
exactly. Yeah, that's how I'm feeling, and I don't want to feel that.
No.
I want to actually, have someone to root for or something. And if they are flawed, let's see some more of that.
Yeah.
Get some more character in there so we have some of these dynamics to, bounce off of each other.
Yeah.
I don't know. It just feels so weird, and it's also quick. But then the pacing is strange to where some of it feels like it drags. I'm just so puzzled by this movie. And one thing that I usually commend is the film's score. I don't even remember the music in this film.
Yeah.
But you know what? I'm not gonna lie. I think that we don't need a like in your face score with this. Like, I feel like it almost feels more grounded and more isolating.
I think at least something atmospheric.
Well, there are a couple.
I don't remember
moments.
shit.
I do remember writing a score rising.
Okay, that's good. That's good. 1 out of 3 remembers. Very good. But no, I mean, I don't know. I feel so upset because maybe it was a little built up because of the way people talk about it.
Yeah.
And I really appreciate the fact that so many people enjoy it as much as they do. I really wanted to be one of those people, and I'm upset that I'm not.
I totally get that. This one is hard to. I will say it's going to be very hard to rate because even going over it, we just talked about it scene by scene. When you get to the meat, no pun intended, of it, I love that. I love the scene. The amputation scene.
Yeah.
I love when he's getting the vines out of Stacy. I love Stacy's slow descent and then I'll just get it out myself. Then I love all of that. So I can't even be like, oh, I didn't like the ruins. I liked a lot of it. But the moments that don't work, it's just like, God damn it. Like, it is disappointing because there is fucking awesomeness here. Just talking about those scenes, I'm like, I want to watch that again. I want to watch that part again. So I know I will revisit it, and maybe it'll be something that grows on me like these fucking evil vines. You know what I mean? But for a first time watch, I was a little disappointed because as good as the book was, and the fact that Scott Smith adapted it for the film, I mean, I know we've already said this multiple times, but it kind of boggles my mind. I don't know what worked for me. Really worked. The prosthetic work, the performances were really, really great. Even when at times the lines written for them weren't that great, I feel like they did a good job with what they were given. The effects are good. The sets are incredible. Those vines, knowing that they were all, I mean, that is so impressive. That's amazing work. I can definitely see this becoming a guilty pleasure of mine because even talking about it now, I'm like, I really would like to watch that middle part again. I really, really would. But I don't like the ending at all. I don't like that ending. I do like the alternate ending.
Yes.
Yeah.
I would love for us to have just gone there. You know what I mean? Because it's like the likelihood of any of them making it out unscathed, not only making it out, but making it out and you're completely fine. And, you're just going to go about your life after this. That is not the movie. That is not the story that you have told me thus far, that is the ending to the story. I don't believe that. It just feels a little sanitized and like you defanged it. That's what it feels like. It feels incomplete. But I guess we can kind of slide into ratings. And again, this is difficult because what I liked about this, I really fucking liked. But overall as a film, it's like we were meant to live for so much more. Have we lost ourselves? You know what I mean? That's what it feels.
Is that what we're doing?
Yeah, I don't. That's not what this film is.
Yeah. Are you trying to one up the yes?
That's how it feels. chills. I'm like, I know that you were capable of more than this because you showed me.
Yeah.
You showed me that this could have been a fucking like incredible movie.
You sound heartbroken.
I am. I really am because I had such high hopes and cold open aside, which I didn't love. I could have eaten that. I could have dealt with that. But I don't know. The first third of it wasn't, it wasn't bad. It was just like, okay, you better be going somewhere.
Yeah.
I don't know. I think that maybe we took a little bit too long when it's such a short movie. And then, as I've said multiple times, the ending didn't work for me at all.
Mm-hmm.
I think Amy sucks. I think that she's
Yes.
How do you really feel?
she's the worst one. And her being the one that gets away scot-free is pretty maddening.
Yeah.
But I mean, all that being said, there is good and bad. I will revisit this. I'm not going to lie to you. I will watch this again. I think that the middle piece is really, I think that it's pretty fucking great. I'm not going to lie. But there are parts that are not so great. All right. On a scale from 1 to 10, vicious and vengeful vines. I think, and this is difficult, I am giving The Ruins 6.5 out of 10 vicious and vengeful vines because the parts that worked really fucking worked, but a lot of it didn't. And I will now open up the floor to you.
No, I agree. That's fair. I think for me, a lot of it was just, I felt like some of these characters weren't fully, and I know we already said it, but they weren't fully fleshed out.
No.
Like we didn't get full personalities. We didn't even get that thing where they're like, oh, you're a fucking clean freak. And then 2 scenes later, the clean freak over here, guys.
Right.
And then later, you didn't even clean your area, clean freak. It's like, you know what I mean?
Don't even have a name anymore.
We didn't even get that.
No.
So I do feel like when we get a little bit of their personality or we get something with them, for me anyway, it just feels awkward and it's kind of weird. And Jeff, again, for me, after a while, I was like, oh, so Jeff is, like I said, he's turning, he's breaking, he's trying to keep us here for what? Maybe I can use you guys as a distraction for me to get away, or I'm going to save us by killing everybody until it's just me or anything. Same thing like you said with Amy. Since you said it, thank you. Amy does suck. And if that's her, and again, I know the actress did a good job because I don't know if her job was to make me hate this character if it was the screenplay, but I mean, it did work.
Yeah.
And yeah, having her survive, I was just like, I don't understand. And maybe it was just me, but I feel like her and Stacy flip-flopped their characters a little bit later on with the way they were. Stacy was looking after Amy. Amy was very ditzy. She was just kind of living life, doing whatever. Then when stuff goes
in her
down,
flip-flops.
Right, in her flip-flops. Then later on, it turns into Stacy freaking out, and then Amy's the strong one. She's like, no, it's going to be okay, and I'm here for you, and whatever. I get it, but I don't feel like we got enough of them for me to be like, oh, you guys are that, you do have that friendship. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
You do, or this is normal for Amy when things get tough for her to toughen up or to whatever. All we've ever heard is how much of a fucking whiner she is, and she's complaining.
Yeah.
So it's like when she does do that for me, it's a little head scratching to like, what? That's not who I thought you were at all. And Eric just feels like the normal one. He's just there. But even that, him just being there and not being very assertive and just kind of like, okay, you know, I don't know. Like I said, for me, I don't know if it was just me, but I didn't feel like the group really, their characters were enough for, like you even said, to care.
Yeah.
And it does suck because for that, it does hurt not having somebody relatable or even to be like, oh, damn, fucking Jeff, whatever. No, it's like, are you trying to kill your friends? And then again, Amy, it's like, you got someone else killed. What the fuck? Yeah. It's like, dude. So for me, and I did love all the things, like you said, babe, all those things too, the operation scenes, the whatever. I also don't want to say that I won't watch this again, but I do feel like if I miss it a couple of times and maybe watch it, you know what I mean, some other time when I'm ready, maybe it'll be like, oh, okay, that's, you know, that was okay. I know what to expect. But I think for the first time, I do have to judge it off of that. So for me, on a scale from 1 to 10, vicious and vengeful vines, I'm also going to give The Ruins a 6.5. Those scenes of gore are good. That I like. Her standing there with her leg cut open, them pulling the vines out. It was just like, damn, that looks good. Even the arrows getting shot into him and everything, I was like, oh shit, that's scary. That's crazy as fuck. But then everything else we're doing with our crew is just like, oh, all right. They weren't fucking. They weren't what?
No.
You know,
They weren't.
It was like, what's happening?
I look, I appreciate both of your scores. I do. My thing is, you're exactly right. The practical effects are fucking incredible.
Yeah.
The production design of that temple is amazing. The premise is fantastic.
Yeah.
Performances. It's just the script, no pun intended, ruins it.
Yeah.
Absolutely. And it's just the most puzzling thing I have ever, maybe not, that's a little much. I've experienced a lot more puzzling things in my life than this fucking movie.
Yeah.
Take that back immediately. I'm very upset and disappointed.
Yeah.
Because I really think that, especially with the material you have, and honestly, to me, flat out, that alternate ending, I think I like more than both the ending that we got and the book ending that you said.
I think for a film, I think that's the best it could have been.
Yeah.
Reading it,
Yeah.
I really love the book.
Like the way it unfolds?
Yes, but yeah, for the film, you guys had it. You can go on YouTube and watch it right now. They filmed it.
Oh, then yeah, I will. Because that's honestly, I like how nobody gets away.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Especially with this group of people we got, that's fine. Sorry. That was a little mean, but look, here's the deal. For me, on a scale from 1 to 10, vicious and vengeful vines, I was going to give this film a 4.5, but I think that the technical work deserves its credit.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And so for that, I am going to give this film, let's not get too crazy now, 5 vicious and vengeful vines out of 10. It's worth it.
What a bum.
Yes. You're welcome, The Ruins.
Well, that's all from us at Podmortem. What would you rate The Ruins and what should we watch next? Let us know on Instagram at the Podmortem. Be sure to follow us on Twitter and like our Steerhole Productions page on Facebook. Be sure to follow each of us on Instagram and Blue Sky at Blood and Smoke, at JuggaloDaddy84, and at TravisMWH. Thanks again to Original Cinematic for sponsoring this week's episode. Please consider pledging to our Patreon, where you'll get over 250 hours of bonus content, our monthly schedule, access to our Discord server, and the opportunity to help us decide which films to cover. And if you're looking for Podmortem or Stairhole Productions merch, follow the link in our episode notes. Stay tuned until after the music for a special shout out to our Wendigo Getter patrons. And remember, traveling can be a grand adventure filled with brand new sights and experiences. But when venturing into uncharted territory, it's always best to listen to the locals. Until next time. Thank you for staying tuned for a special thank you to our Wendigo Getter patrons.
Woo! Yeah.
Very good. A special thank you to
Chris Ontiveros, Kristen Lofton, Megan Martinez, Kimberly Bass, Sophie Hodson, Anthony Jerome M., Jordan Nash, Kent Morton, Lala Tamez, Travis Anissa Hunter, Miguel Myers ATX, Jennifer Perez, Allison O'Neill, Carissa, TJ and Angie Bronson, Andy Teague, Applin Ontiveros, Karima Rhodes, Kimberly Kleindienst, Sydney Smith, Bobby Holmes, Donna Eason, JD Rizak, Molly Gerhard, Armand Spasto, Aaron Aguirre, Eggy, William Barry, Charity Oxner, Amanda Six, Mandy Rainwater, Eden, Jordan Roberts, Dylan, Liz Heath, Spencer Montalvo, Pancake the Panda, John Ramos, Michael Newting, Alexis Roberts, Dan Laveau, Itzy M., Gary Horton, Kate Lamp, Carlos and Sydney, Jessica Hunter, Helena Rudder, Alan Johnston, Mariah, Livy Fun, Scott Troutman Wise, Towton Watson, Mozzie Bear, Dave Burke, Emma Hagel Kissinger, Valerie G, Emiliana, CB, Taylor Santana, Will Lewison, Angelique, Smelly Poo Poo Head, Beth Bauer, Cookie, Esperanza J, Jason Kyle, OKC, Joshua Rumley, Danielle Peralta, Brandon, Sawyer Reese Farr, Sahara, Girl That's Scary, Cassandra, Andrea Simmons, Ashley Higuera, William and Xena Rush, Ryan Brom, Megan Ochoa, Laura Lassiter, Eileen O, Marissa E, Henry F, Megan M, Strangely Sarah, Christy Beck, Nancy and Andy, Amanda Lopez, Andy Terrell, Jason Hanovan, Erica Morin, Tris Wynn, K.87, Mariah Jensen, Carrie A, Lonnie Lono, Powell, Kayla E, Maggie H, Murder Stina, Kristen Marcy, Ori81 Boricua, Look Like That One Girl, Bog Boy, Felnez63,
Alita Pui, Probably My Jugs, Kate Thackeray, Wade Pack, A Lizard, Bay J, Jay Rich, Topher Williams, Elena Metler, Valerie K, Christy Lee Kruger, Professor of Humanities, Laura McCarricker, Naomi, Josh Smith, Autumn Green, Abby Kopp, Crystal 831, Skank Sinatra, Morgan Alexander, Tony Osteen, Julie Fredborg, Rihanna S, Daniel Taylor, Anna Kate, Heather Ortiz, Kim H, August, Vincent Spirit, Jenny May, Glittery Fab, Malik Caselli Armstrong, Scarly D, Toya Shea, Katie, Martin Shaw, Star, Tyler J, Cam Davies, Patrick Hoagland, Raven, D, Wesley Tart, Kristen Jackson, Jacob Nordberg, Spencer, Samantha, Damian Grant, Half Price Horror, Clemmy, Nisi Nay, Erica, Jason X Rules, Aaron Norman, Stephen Rogers, Victoria Smith, Patricia A. Graham, Erasmo Pena, Danielle Wright, Tabitha Thomas, Richard Murray, Irene, Sally Slater 52, Jordan McCarthy, Christy Michelle Wilson, Rosalind Harnias, Emily Rance, Amy, Lisa and Kathy, Mike H, Christian Sadler, Hannah, Sarah Jack, Casey L, Evelyn Knight, Paula Garcia, Nikki M, Ghastly Grandad, Megan and Alexandra Saldivar, Lisa Sykes, Sunny Jonas, Kelsey Niemeyer Cook, Martina LaForce, The Face Flowers, JG, Morgan Novello, Ashley, Alex M, Brandon C, Gordon Sutherland, Georgia Renland, Ashley Poe, Najee P, Seth Schaff, Diana Joe, Connor Gormley, Carrie Parker,
Katie Face, Jane Pillsbury, Caitlin Asher, Mia Franz, Pooh Bear, Spicy Caldera, This is the Zodiac Speaking, Jason the Ghost, Moldy Tic Tac, Brian Ward, Tanner Rutgers, Gremlin Keeper 22, Sam Spade 666, Veronica, Kristen Rhodes, Daniel Laurent, Carmito, TVR, A Very Sweepy Baby, Randy Tucker, Nicholas Rage, A Lazy Boy, Nicola Williams, Sadison Miles, Jasmine, Stu Corbett, Daniel Smith, Brick O, Pullout Lebowski, Jaden Nicole, Jody Grody, Lost Fan 08, George L. Robertson, Mercedes X Bleeple, Joel Miller Apologist, Jalen Perry, Cool Trainer Elijah, Mrs. Bloomingdale, Sierra Duncan, Claire Cantwell, Renee Hart, Meg Like Sleep, Final Boy, Alani, Nosferatu Dude, Elizabeth Thompson, Joey, Michelle Nicole, The Lipstick Demon, Less Than Zombie, Franklin Badge, Sean Reeves, The Kryptonian Orphan, Aria Carter, Melissa B, Olivia Youngblood, Elena C, Jillian Mumford, Evil Chris, Robin L. Tercer, Rex Term Raul, Witchy Poop 19, Brian Avers, Danielle Milton, Instant Horror, Give Me One More Wish Like Ray J, Skin Deep, Christian Salvatierra, Ashay Guevara, Aaron Mr. Clean Bouchard, Henny Kravitz, Francisco Olmos, Nicholas Doba, Paunchy Cat, Christina Perez, Buddy Boy Mac, Revamped, a rewatch podcast, Sarah Coolidge, and Show Livia. Thank you so much.
Thank each and every one of you.
Yes, thank you all, because without y'all, this show would be in ruins.
It's true.
It is
Yes,
very true.
yes, yes.
We love you all. Until next time.